show before the show called the pre-show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the pre-show for April 6th, 2020. That's all we've got planned. We have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we're joined with three new people here this week. We've got down below me Morgan Webb. How's it going, Miss Webb? Do you prefer Miss Webb? Does anyone call you Miss Webb? Do you hate Miss Webb?
Nobody, I don't believe anyone calls me Miss Webb.
Okay.
Usually they just call me Morgan.
Okay, I'm going to call you Miss Webb then for the rest of the show. We'll see how it goes.
Perfect.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. To my left, we've got Rami. Rami, what are you drinking?
This is a Jarritos.
A what?
Did I do
Never heard of that.
It's a Mexican natural flavor soda that I first came across in the US, and then I found a Mexican place that sells it in Europe. So
okay, describe.
Very good.
What's the taste? What is that? The sunburst flavor? Have you ever had a sun kissed?
This is mango.
What? Have you ever had a sun kissed?
I have no idea what that is, and I'm terrified already.
Morgan or Miss Morgan? This is gonna be hard on me. Miss Webb. Sorry.
Yes.
Do you know what a sun kissed is? Is the only other American here?
Yes, I do. It is an incredibly sticky, sweet, incredibly sweet orange soda.
It's true. It's true.
Yes. I find it undrinkable,
me,
although it's for kids.
It's for kids.
For children.
Yeah. They're not bad. They're okay. And last but not least, Rebb Ford. You were drinking something too. Was that a LaCroix? What is that?
It is. Morgan and I are part of the bottom row LaCroix team down here. So mine's actually also mango flavored.
Yeah, you've got mango flavored as well.
We have like a bit of like a chain going here. That's their mango. This is the mango column. This is the LaCroix grid.
I've got a Twitch ambassador cup with water in it. And I'm not a Twitch ambassador. I stole it from my fiance who works for Twitch.
So we have thievery.
Yeah, we've got some thievery going on here. Well, as a show about nothing, what have you guys been doing when there's not anything to do? You can't go outside. The world is in an interesting place right now. We talked a little bit about this last episode. We'll try to keep it light, but it's a little bit tough to talk about it, I guess, sometimes without getting a little bit too depressing. But how have you guys been holding up? I think work is probably the first thing that's changed immensely for everyone here. Rami, you can't get on flights. How is not flying? Is this the longest you've ever been grounded before?
I actually went and checked the other day, and this is the longest I've been in one place since 2011.
What's that like?
I'm finding all these new rooms in my apartment. I have a storage unit downstairs. I had no idea I have a storage unit. There's a storage unit.
Yeah.
So that's great. No, it's weird. I don't get random checked at airports. I don't get on airplanes. I don't see people. I'm just stuck here. It's been interesting.
Apart from human contact, what's the singular most thing you miss about not being able to travel every other day?
I mean, seeing different places. The view is great. I live in a beautiful town in the Netherlands. I have a beautiful church just outside the window. One of those really old, Baroque ones. It's gorgeous, but after 17 days of that view, I would like
17 days, man.
That's a lot for me. That's a lot.
I guess
I would like a bridge, or maybe
sure.
A hill would be great.
A hill, yeah.
The Netherlands are entirely flat. There's no hills. I have not seen any elevation in weeks.
Yeah. Is the Netherlands on complete lockdown? What is the status over there? Oh
God, we are on intelligent lockdown, which is what.
We can't do that in America. No one's intelligent. What does intelligent lockdown mean?
It means that they did not actually lock us down. They politely asked us to not go outside.
So do people still go outside?
Some, but most don't.
Okay.
So it's kind of working. I wouldn't say it's going well, but it's not the disaster you would expect. So we're kind of in the
yeah.
Police can write fines, but they don't.
Here in St. Louis, we're on strict stay-at-home lockdown, and my neighbors had a birthday party last week. So
wow. For kids or for adults?
I was that neighbor peering through my blinds, so I didn't really know what was happening. There were cars driving around, and then kids were getting out of the cars and going inside. So I think it was kids only. I don't know. At any given time, though, in my neighborhood, the corner house on kind of the cul-de-sac down the way, that's like where everyone meets, and they put out they have like a bonfire where everyone comes and just sits, like 10 people or so every night. They just hang out like nothing's wrong, nothing's going on. So,
oh dear.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating to say the least, because I don't think that's an exception. I think that's pretty common, at least in the Midwest.
I watched a baby shower take place on my area where I live, and it was a social distance baby shower, it looked like, and I think it was the first time the grandparents had seen the baby, and it was very sad. Like you could tell, like, because like 3 cars pulled up, they all had blue balloons in them, and then someone carried out a baby and just held it up like through the car window, and then my neighbors are the grandparents. Lion King style, and the grandparents just stood there like this, like kind of crying, and I was like, am I watching something like kind of beautiful but also traumatizing? Wow. So that was Friday, and that was that was tough.
If we're gonna bring the sad factor into this,
sorry,
as someone who had a grandmother who was in the hospital last week because of a stroke, she's now fine. She's at home fine. I don't think she caught the virus when she was in the hospital. We were looking. She's 91. We were, if worse comes to worse, we wanted to be prepared. There is a way to live stream a funeral that many funeral homes are currently like using. And they allow a maximum of 6 family members, 6 to 10, I think is what it was. Family members that have to be, 6 feet apart at the funeral. So luckily we didn't have to go down that path, but I couldn't imagine.
They also do social distance baptisms now, where they just use a water gun, apparently. So.
No.
Like a super soaker? What are we talking about here?
I have no idea, but it was.
Okay, we got through the sad part.
Yeah.
We made it back at water guns.
A super soaker baptism that'd be a good story. You'd remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're on a good path again. I like it.
Yeah. Rebb, where's Canada at right now on the lockdown? How's that all going?
It is going. Canada has only a couple very densely populated areas that are taking it pretty damn seriously. We're having very regular updates. There's a lot of unemployment, but also a lot of unemployment insurance things going live as recently as today. Our whole work, this is day 1 of week 4 of our total work from home setup. So that's been very, very interesting. Every day we kind of like add another entry to the prison wall of like, is this another work from home week? Yep. So I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. You can read the news and numbers, and it's just, we're just your neighbors to the north. So It's happening here just at a population that is 1/20th the U.S. So
yeah.
I had no idea how lightly populated Canada was. I did because I road trip across the U.S. frequently. I did a road trip from Montreal to what's it called? Like mountains, Banff.
Banff, yeah.
Which is basically on the other side of the country.
Wait, like BAMF?
So beautiful.
Like McCree has on his belt?
BAMF.
Oh.
It's this beautiful mountain area in the Canadian Rockies. And everybody who I asked was like, you should not do that drive. Like, why not? Like, it's like I've done that in the US plenty of times. I know it's a long drive, but that road is like 90% of it is just like there's a sign that says next gas station 400 miles, get gas now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're not kidding. Like, it's not like in the US where somebody puts that sign up and there's like gas stations every 20 miles, but that's a good way to get people to get gas at their station.
Yeah.
So this is just like, there's nothing. It's just
nothing.
Empty. It was incredible. Never seen anything like it. Never doing it again.
Huh.
But quite a drive.
Morgan, California, how's everything there?
We seem like we're actually doing pretty well. We started, we saw, because New York got hit first, and we saw how that was going. So we've been on lockdown this is the beginning of our 4th week now.
Yeah.
We all took our computers home. We're all doing work from home. We're doing our best to stay connected. So we do things like virtual happy hours. We play a lot of games together, a lot of that stuff to try to keep us connected.
It's honestly why I started this show as an excuse, because like besides Aaron and the dog and the kid, like I don't have human interaction because no one has human interaction. So now I just have a place where I just call my friends and we just talk about nothing. So that's really why I started this show.
I think
it's fucked up.
It's really important. I mean, I've noticed for my mental health, not but I'm sure it's true for a lot of people, is you just get caught up in your head, especially with work. Like, normally I'd turn around and be like, "Hey, is this a dumb idea?" But so now it's a whole thing, and I'm overanalyzing it, and I'm, and then I'm like, should I call that person? It just becomes something where now what we're trying to do is set something up. So like, if I'm wondering, you just call the person. Keep those lines of communication open as much as you possibly can.
Sure.
And don't make it a big deal. Because normally if you're like setting up a meeting, it's a big deal. But so we're trying to make it as casual as we can.
Yeah.
As much as possible. I'm also seeing a lot of friends who I don't necessarily see as much by doing calls like this. So I'm trying to keep that up as much as possible.
Yeah. What was the shift like for both? I mean, you work at Bonfire Studios, Morgan, and Rebb, you're at I just know them as DE. I'm blanking right now.
Fine.
Okay, DE. The people who make Warframe. Yeah, you guys just started, you said 4 weeks ago, working from home. As a company, like for both of you, what was that shift like? And was it the type of thing where you guys didn't really know what it was going to be like and you're just kind of learning as you go? Whoever wants to jump in first. Like, I don't know if there's a clear answer there, but just kind of.
It might be a question of scale. We had 330 people to relocate. I'm not sure what it was like for Bonfire.
Yeah, because we're a much smaller company. We're at like 26.
Sure.
Out. So it's definitely easier for that. And also, we do all of our own infrastructure. So like I'm part of the IT department.
Right.
You're like, okay, who's going to VPN what?
Yeah.
Oh.
So there was definitely some struggle like initially in that area, but it has been okay. It's been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the type of thing where, work halted as everyone was in the process of getting home and then works back to normal? Are you seeing people doing more work because they're not bogged down in meetings all day? Like that's all the things that I hear about from people working from home. I don't know how true that is though.
We had a lot of, we always stressed independence at Bonfire and we sort of were not flat, we try to stress really independence. And so everybody's responsible for what they're doing. And so I think we're, as a culture, ready for the switch. We don't have people who need sort of to be micromanaged and you get all of your tasks and that kind of thing.
Right.
So that was pretty good. We were up and running. Everyone took their stuff home on Friday. We were super up and running by Monday. And then I think by Tuesday, Wednesday, we were all like, oh God, all the adrenaline drains away. And you start to realize this is the situation. And you have, you need a little time to grieve the world and the life that you knew and all that stuff. So
yeah,
we went through that period and I think we're, definitely back on track and being productive.
It was really weird. I was watching, I think it was there was a video where Jack Nicholson's son hit a hole in one or something, and they were all standing around as we do in golf, watching the ball float there. He got the hole in one. He gave him a hug, and there was a gasp because I was like, "You can't touch." Oh wait, this was 6 months. It was fine. You could totally give your son. But for me, it was like, "Oh my God, what is it? They're gonna get sick. What are they doing?" Jack Nicholson.
Humans shouldn't touch each other.
Yeah, or Jack Nicholas. Sorry, yeah, you shouldn't touch each other. Yeah. It's scary.
Our prime minister managed. In the Netherlands, we're a bit joking about our politics, but they're actually surprisingly good given the state of the world. But our prime minister did a press conference where he announced that you were no longer allowed to shake hands, and then shook the hands of the health minister to shut down the press conference.
Those have been fun to watch. There was
I saw that clip.
Yeah.
If there was ever a thing that went viral in the Netherlands, I'm guessing not many people outside of the country will see that, but here it was everywhere. It was quite something.
I think the one that went viral in the U.S. was, I think it was someone from the CDC. They're basically saying if you're gonna cough into your elbow, and then she just coughed, right after she said that, she just coughed. It's Great.
When
I
I
mean-
think like Fauci did something where he got up and he's like, "Don't touch your face," and then like for the next rest of the
Oh,
press
yeah,
conference, he was
yeah.
just like touching his face the entire time.
Yeah, it's
The lady that flipped the paper by like
yes. Oh,
wetting
that's
her
what it
finger.
was. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, I think Philly
Yeah.
D was the one that made that, but yeah, it's
It's
ridiculous.
just so hard. I'm touching my
It's
like I
hard.
just touched my face right now. It's just
So
it's impossible.
I asked the same thing
I
of
know.
the group last week. Like, how far are you guys? I'm not ashamed to admit it. I wiped down a cardboard box the other day. Like, I used a Clorox
Oh.
wipe on a cardboard box.
I
that
got
here,
two
that shipped here.
boxes today,
Yeah.
and I kicked them inside, and they are now in quarantine, and I'm not going to touch them.
Yeah, it's what 20. I've heard 24 hours for a cardboard box. Is that where you're at? How long are they in quarantine for?
I'll probably look at them in a couple days.
Okay.
But if it was something that I really needed to open, like it's just a new piece of audio equipment for my work at home setup, but it's just not urgent.
Yeah.
So if it was something I really needed to open, yeah, I would bleach it. I would Clorox it.
I'm pretty judgmental about the packages too, because like one of them came through Tennessee and one of them came through Kentucky. Like I wiped those motherfuckers down. But we've got one coming from Final Fantasy VII, like the first class edition or whatever is coming from Vegas. I'm not too worried about that. I don't know too much about where Vegas is at with the virus and all that, but I do know that like Kentucky and Tennessee are fucked right now. So I'm not even gonna take the chance. But what about you, Reb? Are you wiping down cardboard boxes? Are you getting anything delivered? I guess maybe that's the
I think
first
that's-
question. Yeah.
That's the first one. Brief, rare, not too much is coming. So I haven't had, I think it's just a grocery thing. It's like I get it, I bring it home, and then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Do I like clean each individual thing if it was a free thing like a vegetable? Or yeah, it's definitely different. It's just nothing can be underthought almost. Like every single action I do now, I have to think of like what series of events do I need to do to feel like I've at least tried.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, I put
it's
my
weird.
phone in one of those UV boxes, which I actually just had because I tend to get sick a lot. So like, I just
Oh.
get like a lot of colds. So I was always a little like extra cognizant of
That's
where
smart.
like what stuff touched. But there's like these little UV boxes. Okay, so this is what happened. I'm at an airport and I go and I like wash my hands and I scrub, and I'm like, I'm all clean. And then I take my phone out of my pocket that I was just touching a minute ago. And then, it's like
Oh yeah, no.
your phones are disgusting.
Man, you think a lot about. I do the same thing. Like I wash my hands,
Yeah.
and then I'd go and wipe a towel. Then wait. When did we wash that towel? Like I never used to think, when did we wash that towel? I just wiped my hands and went on with my life. Now it's
see
like,
everything.
has it been 4 days? We should probably wash that towel. Like who knows? Where's that towel been? What do we do
Wash
with
it
that
on.
towel?
Wash it on hot. We should
Yeah.
get some bleach.
We
Yeah.
should get. Yeah. It's everywhere. You think about
I'm
it.
at
a
the
lot.
point where it's only when my door opens I worry about stuff. As soon as it's inside and like I figured out where it's from in the house, like whatever. But
Yeah.
when I go outside, it's like jacket with like a little mask thing, and like I've got some gloves, and everybody here is taking it pretty seriously with the supermarkets looking like a military operation. It's weird times. I mean, I've got Animal Crossing, it's keeping me safe, but
Yeah.
Thank
it's
God for Animal Crossing.
right.
But seriously,
uh,
though.
I mean, I think that's
Although-
saving Erin right now as well. That's her nightly routine is 4 or 5 hours of Animal Crossing. I leave her alone upstairs and I just hear curses every once in a while and I don't ask why
When
or
she
what's
gets an
going on.
egg.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently they
Instead of a
patched that,
fish.
by the way, today. They patched the
I
eggs.
saw
They did.
that.
Yeah. That was causing a lot
I
of
just
issues.
stopped digging stuff up because I was like, and I stopped digging stuff up and I stopped fishing.
Yeah.
So
Was
what
it
this
like
was
a
is
70% chance to get like an egg or something, right?
It was high.
70%.
It was
felt like-
stupidly high. I think you just pissed off Morgan by saying it should be higher. It's
I
90%,
don't know what it
Reb.
was.
What
I
do you
don't know
do?
what it
No,
was.
no. I don't know what the ratio was. It just felt super high.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm not really like an Easter person. It's not my holiday.
Hmm.
Like I wasn't raised with Easter, so it doesn't spark that joy.
Is Easter big in Japan? Like, is that a big deal?
Where is it? Where is it big? I actually don't know.
I mean, it's
No.
big in America.
Is it?
I mean,
Pretty
it's
big
it's
here.
it's celebrated in America. I guess big is dependent on where you live, and yeah. If you're in like the
I think it's
Bible
the-
Belt of America, like Easter's a big fucking
Yeah.
deal.
But the Easter is a big deal there in the religious sense as opposed to like the novelty sense.
Sure. Yeah. A novelty sense. Who cares about the Easter Bunny? I don't know.
I mean, children, like little kids, right?
But is that worldwide? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, maybe I was just brought up too Muslim to have noticed this, but I don't remember seeing it in the Netherlands. I remember the chocolate eggs because.
Did you do
chocolate? Yeah.
Did you do Easter egg hunts, Rami? Do you know what that is?
I mean, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Sounds dangerous, but you know.
You got to be careful, though. You know.
Yeah, kids is all about the chocolate. I mean, no, Easter's all about the chocolate, not also children, but
both are.
Yeah.
Both are adequately
chocolate,
about the chocolate.
Yeah. I don't know.
Plus,
it's definitely
very hard to make. Sorry, go ahead. You go.
I was gonna say it's definitely a seasonal game. Like games that operate as a service always jump on the seasonal opportunities. Like in Final Fantasy 14, JP, there's
did you get your bunny suit?
I have not got it.
I haven't either. Apparently, I have till the 11th. I think.
Yeah. So, like, we're doing an Easter thing. We always have done one. I used to play a Fire Emblem gacha game. They always do Easter things. So, and now Animal Crossing. Does that mean every Animal? Okay, wait. Animal Crossing fans, the last game was too far back to have like regular seasonal updates, and now that it's in the era of like live patches, is it going to be a new thing for the series or no? I don't know the series well enough.
I think they used to do seasonal stuff already, but it was just in the ROM. It was just in the game itself already. Like this is the first time they're actually adding it later on, I think. Not sure if Easter was in there, but there was definitely seasonal stuff. Yeah.
I don't remember Easter specifically.
I really hope one day there'll be.
It was a one-day thing too. It wasn't like 2 weeks of Easter crap.
Yeah.
So it was like 1 day of Easter crap, I think. Again, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Someone in chat always knows.
Yeah,
any game-related question, someone will always know.
Someone will let us know.
Wisdom of the chat.
Yeah. Well, go ahead,
For
Rob.
me, the next holiday is going to be Ramadan, which is starting in like 15 days or so.
Yeah.
It's going to be real weird this year because it's normally a big communal like month where you have breakfast and dinner together, and like we're just looking at like how are we going to do this over video? Like how are we?
Right.
We're going to call each other at 4 a.m. in the morning to do breakfast to like before the sunrise.
Yeah.
There's nothing about that in Animal Crossing. That would have been interesting. Just all day you can find fruit but not eat it. That would be it. I would really appreciate that. That'd be a thing.
Are there special foods that you have for Ramadan?
There's not really special foods, I guess, but I mean, every culture is different, so it's more of a like.
Yeah.
I mean, we eat a lot of food that keeps us like not hungry throughout the day, so it'll be a lot of carbs usually. For Eid, which is the celebration that happens right after Ramadan, it's all sorts of sweets and like delicious pastries and just it's great. It's 2 days of just eat everything you can because you can eat while the sun is up. It's real weird, but after a month of not eating and drinking while the sun is up, being able to like grab a glass of water and just fill the glass and just go like, oh, the sun, oh yeah, I can drink. Oh, good. It's great. It's the best glass of water you'll ever have.
I still think you'll have to help me through this because I don't know some of the names, Rami, but I still think the photo that you tweeted out about the structure that is one of the most holiest places.
Mecca.
Yeah, the Mecca, yes. That's probably been one of two of the most impactful photos I've seen and just around like the whole virus situation. I'll try to pull it up here and show people what I'm talking about. But that was a crazy sight for sure.
Kaaba. And the Kaaba is the sort of like the black cube in the middle of the Holy Mosque in Mecca. And I've watched that place since I was a kid, right? Because it's the most holy place in Islam. And there's a number of, denominations of Islam, but all of them agree that that is the holiest place on earth, basically. And every prayer in Islam is aimed at that Kaaba. So you always see Muslims praying in a direction, but they're all praying towards that one point on earth. And so it's always on TV. There's like 24-hour channels. There's always prayer. There's always people. So I've watched this place for all of my life. And when I saw that photo, it just struck me that I had never realized that the floor is white. right? It's the first time in my life I have looked at this place and seen the floor. Like this picture is apocalyptic for me because that's not what this should look like. This building would only be empty if there were no more humans. And then I realized that the reason it's empty is because people don't go there because it's dangerous, and that actually gave me a lot of hope that even this, which is like the most holy, most important place on earth for what 1.6 billion people, is empty right now. And it ended up being a pretty hopeful image. But yeah, wow, that was a photo. I still think about that one.
There was a where was it? Oh, here the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, or is it Sepulchre? It's Sepulchre, right? That's how you pronounce that word. I'm bad with words. Someone help me.
I said sepulchre, but I think either one is fine.
Look, I only know sepulchres from Diablo, and I never went there because you never had to farm them. So I never learned the word, you know? Anyways.
Sepulchre.
Okay. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem was closed. The only other time that had ever been shut was, I think, a millennia ago. Or something like that. Something absurd.
To the point where like the printing press wasn't even invented yet. There's record of it pre.
Yeah.
It's like we don't quite have the ability to. Oh my god.
Oh, it was during the last time that was shut was during the Black Plague. That's what it was. That's the only other time it's ever been closed.
Well, we can only hope this doesn't get to that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine though being the person that has like the key for that place? It has to be like, okay, we're just gonna like.
A key that's like never been used, right? Like,
right.
Or used once.
Have a lock on the door.
Passed down. It's like a video game story or like a movie story where there's like this key that you see through like the sun going up and down for like centuries.
Yeah.
Like the fast forward at the start of the movie and somebody grabs the key and you're like, oh shit, this key is important. This one matters.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Oh my god.
It's crazy to see that type of stuff. The other photo that I remember, I think I've mentioned it multiple times, at least on my stream, was the photo of the Chinese doctors who were on horseback riding into the mountains to go and like to one of the Chinese villages or towns that was, you know, kind of snowed in, so to speak, in the mountains. And that was really crazy to see. I'll try to find that as well. It'll be, I always pay attention to like the Times photo of the year or whatever like that every single year. I think this year is going to be tough. It's going to be a stacked competition for sure. There's going to be a lot of
It's interesting.
stuff.
Yeah, to see the like the wildlife returning to the cities.
Yes. Yeah.
It's been interesting. And there was a video, gosh, I think it was from Thailand, that was like the monkeys that were basically supported by the tourists. The tourists would feed them. And now all of a sudden, you know, they've just like overrun the city looking for food. So there's
it's like
I
all
guess
that their
goes in there
habits
too.
Yeah. I mean, so wild. And I mean, I'm just trying to think back to like, when they closed Sepulchre back in the day, like what were the communication channels? Oh my God. I did not see this photo.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I mean, we just look at this whenever we're like, oh, this sucks. Quarantine sucks. We're like, we should just look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore.
I have that
be like,
one
fine,
group
I'll go
chat.
play Animal Crossing.
Yeah. The one group chat I have with some of my girlfriends that are like not in our industry at all. One of them's a nurse, and it's just like every time I say anything, I'm like, but oh my God, you just worked 16 hours or you're in the ICU. And I'm just like, there's like, no matter how difficult, for lack of a better word, this feels, it's like, I'm not on the front lines. I'm staying home. I'm working on a video game. Like I can't do anything other than be in awe of what people are doing on the front lines and stuff. And are you guys in neighborhoods where if you have to go do a grocery run, you're seeing the bed sheets on front saying thank you to our healthcare workers and stuff? You guys have people doing that?
I do not have that. Again, Midwest, so it's probably the fault.
Okay. There's like 3 houses near me that have bed sheets with like paint on them that are like, thank you if you're going to work at a grocery store or hospital right now. And like, there's like just messages of support on people's windows and stuff. It's very, very cute.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of celebrations around, like New York was doing it. I think Toronto had some. just any kind of major metropolis around the time when like the shift ends for nurses and doctors, they'll all like start applauding in the cities. That type of stuff has been really cool to see the videos of, and I think should continue, right? Because like they're the people that are getting us through this. And we're talking about like time people of the year, person of the year. It would have to be nurses and doctors, right? Like there's no competition there.
Everybody had to go out and work, like just all of them combined. That's time person of the year.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But for Rami and Morgan, are you guys seeing any celebrations of grocery stockers or anything like that in y'all's neck of the woods?
No, but I also don't really go out that much.
Are you doing grocery delivery then?
Okay, so
all right, let's get into it. We got the okay. And then the Here we go.
Okay. So I kind of saw the situation, I think, earlier than a lot of people did in my area, maybe. And so I kind of ordered most of my stuff early. Like I have a lot of stuff, and I don't have like hoarding level, but like I have brown rice, I have vegetables, I have tofu, like I have a bunch of stuff like that. So I'm actually doing pretty good. Also, I planted stuff from my fridge and now it's in my garden.
Nice. She was working yesterday in the garden and like getting a garden set up for that very reason. So
if you want some Italian wisdom, you plant your chicory and Italian lettuces on Easter Friday. So this Friday, I have 5 pots ready for all my salads, so I can start.
That's the best.
The way to go. You gotta.
That's smart.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have a very small growing area because I live in an apartment,
California.
because I live in an apartment. But so I have all these ornamental plants that I am like now staring at, like, you freeloader. I should. Like I kind of want to pull them out and put in. They're beautiful though, and like I've cared for them for so long. But now I'm like, I could put in something delicious.
They're good.
I can't eat you. What's the point of you?
I can't eat you.
Yeah.
You do nothing for me.
You could always change it up.
Yeah.
So no need then for grocery store runs yet.
So far,
Okay.
I mean, at some point I'm gonna want a vegetable probably.
Sure. Yeah. It'll happen.
Yeah,
It'll
but
be
I'm like a hardcore introvert, so I've adapted pretty well.
Yeah. Oh no,
I used to travel almost every weekend, at least.
Yeah.
And now, gotten a lot of stuff done around the house.
Hell yeah.
I think that was one of the biggest things. We have a hardware store that's pretty close to us, and Erin goes there. I think she's made maybe 3 or 4 trips since kind of the lockdown started 2 or 3 weeks ago. But every single time she goes, there's more people than there were the last time. And they always say like yesterday was our biggest day in our store's history for just people trying to do like home projects, like random things, buying paint, working on whatever that's been broken in the house for the past year that they've never gotten around to.
Well, now you're in the house so much, you're like, that thing really is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I've reached critical, like, oops, when I'm looking at the carpet in my office and I'm like, I could probably get rid of that. But it's like, why? It's only because I've been in here for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that for now my main response has been like I should start a podcast or something. Like that's the thing that keeps pulling me in. I'm like, okay, I need ways to talk to people. I'll start a thing.
That's usually my
but
go-to
my nearest supermarket is literally like I can hit it if I throw a stone out of the window, I can hit it. So I haven't been outside much. I feel the Dutch are probably a little too like sober to put up things in windows, maybe in the big cities, but most of the country is just like everything's working as planned. So I guess good work, everybody.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Canada's sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say Canada has like a contagious out nicing problem where it's like if someone does something like kind of like cute and nice, someone's like, oh, I'll do it too, so I also look nice. So it's like this like spread of like how can we do the nice thing I saw someone else do?
Sure.
That's adorable.
We would start a WhatsApp group with every other neighbor and be like, do you see how like much of an over the top nice person that person is trying to be? I bet they're hiding something. Like the Dutch are absolutely not.
What you're saying is the Dutch hate Canadians. Is that really the culmination
No,
of this?
we like the Canadians.
Okay.
as long as they're not Dutch. If they were Dutch, that
Oh,
would
if
be
they were
upsetting.
Dutch Canadians, then it's another
like,
story.
our entire country's motto is like, if you act normal, you're acting crazy enough. Like that's how you summarize Dutch culture. It's like, doe maar normaal, dan doe je nog gek genoeg. That's the Dutch. I've never found another people that so want to act normal. They have a very wide definition of the word normal. So a lot of people just fall into normal, but as soon as you step out of that, we're like, we have like 3 days where we have exceptions. It's kind of like the Purge, like King's Day, where everything goes.
Oh my god.
Everything goes completely nuts.
Really?
We have Carnival, which is Mardi Gras. It's in the south, which is always a total mess.
Yeah.
And then there is New Year's, which is literally the purge. Like, people buy their own fireworks. Kids like aim arrow, fire, like, what do you call them? Fireworks at each other.
Yeah.
Like, people throw fireworks at each other. It's like a war zone. The entire country is a war zone for like one night. It's great and terrifying, but also
really dangerous.
Oh, it is, absolutely. But we have like a full year of acting normal, and that we need that one day. Come on, like, give us one day to be completely.
Well, it's not, you're speaking to a Californian that fireworks and things like that are just forbidden on a state.
I was actually going to say, like, no, we have no fireworks. It is not a thing. Except, I have to say, in Orange County, they do sell fireworks, and they set up for 4th of July, those big things on the side of the road. And I'm like, how is this okay?
Huh.
Like, those hills are so dry.
Yeah.
Don't. I find it just confusing.
I didn't realize they could sell any fireworks in anywhere in California. I figured.
I mean, I'm guessing they're sparklers.
Yeah.
I know. I agree.
Huh.
But even then,
near where we live, we have if I look out the window, I could see there's a fireworks shop that's during like the month on either side of July the 4th. It's open 24 hours. So you can just go, and this is like
seems unnecessary.
It's massive. We're talking like the Walmart sized fireworks store. And so at 3 a.m., I'll look out and you'll see like a truck pull in, and then you'll just see some fireworks go off in the middle of the night for no reason. Because they're bored and went to the fireworks shop. So
good decision happens at 3 a.m. with fireworks.
I guess. I don't know.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. It's the Midwest. That's how it goes. I knew that fireworks were a big deal in the Midwest, but I didn't realize how big they were. DJ Wheat, for example, he lives in Nebraska. But his whole like block, and I think it's pretty common in most neighborhoods in Nebraska, or most neighborhoods in the Midwest, they do like a fireworks celebration where, the entire neighborhood comes out and they just get a shit ton of fireworks and set them all off in the middle of the street with like kids and, hand them the sparklers and stuff like that. Then you get the like giant, I don't know how big a firework can get, but like giant fireworks like that big around that they set off and have to get 20 or 30 feet from. But it's pretty common. So what is King's Day, by the way, Rami? Are you just celebrating the king?
Yeah, so it is meant to celebrate the king. We used to have Queen's Day when we had a queen, and then it shifted dates and date when we got a king. And basically it's just a full day of festivals and people wearing orange. So the Dutch flag is red, white, blue, but our royal family is called van Oranje, orange in Dutch. So their name is literally orange. So that's our national color. So everybody will. If you look up, if you just type in Netherlands King's Day in Google, you'll get a pretty good feel for what it is. It's
like a rite of passage in like some of my friends in Canada is to go to the Netherlands for King's Day. Like, there's a very big Canadian to Netherlands tourism, I think. Because I can probably picture like 15 of my friends that have posted pictures on bikes on King's Day with radlers and stuff, just having their fun.
It's basically a lot of festivals, a lot of people on like boats, a lot of alcohol, a lot of trouble with trains. I don't drink, so it always sort of like skipped by me. But
yeah,
it's something.
Sure, it's stay-at-home day for Rami then.
Absolutely, it is 100%. I will watch TV and like see what cool like music shows are happening. But yeah, no, not my day.
Yeah.
This is like
Although I
the
like the
drunk
king.
Santa
The king is
day
nice.
drunk Santa day in New York now. I feel like
Yeah, it's like St. Patrick's Day. Like,
Wait,
you
that's
guys have
not a
wild
made up
St.
thing? I thought I saw it. Sorry to interrupt. I thought I saw like drunks
it's like
Santa.
Santa Day. It's not officially drunk Santa Day, but that's what it is.
I thought that was just a thing that was in like How I Met Your Mother or whatever, or some like
No, it's
TV
a
sitcom.
thing.
That's a real thing. Oh,
Drinking Santas. They all, yeah. People will do anything for entertainment, from fireworks at 3 a.m. to Santa Claus.
I'm trying to remember what the day is actually called, but it's basically like a Santa bar crawl, and it just traumatizes a bunch of young children who see Santa pissing on the street and passed out drunk.
sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like massive inebriation.
Is that where the movie Bad Santa came from? Then
I don't know.
I wonder if that's where that originated with Bad Santa, of
try to
course,
find
the
Santa
popular
Day.
film with Billy Bob Thornton. Everyone knows that.
Everyone.
I don't know who else is in that movie. I've never seen it. I just know it exists with Billy Bob Thornton.
I know they made a sequel to Badder Santa.
Was Billy Bob Thornton in it as well?
I don't know. I just know there was a worse Santa. I've never seen either, so I don't know.
I just learned did you know they made a second Mask movie with Jamie Oliver as the Mask?
Wait, like somebody like
What?
Jim Carrey?
Yeah,
like Jim Carrey.
The Mask had a second movie called, I think it's The Son of the Mask. And I think it's got Jamie Oliver in it. Jamie, is it Jamie Kennedy? Jamie Kennedy.
Oh yeah,
Oliver's the
Jamie
chef.
Oliver's a chef. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't.
I mean, I would watch it if it was Jamie Oliver. That'd be funny.
No, that would be good. Yeah, Jamie Kennedy. Whatever.
You know, I'm always a little jealous of
SantaCon.
Yeah.
To go back for 1 second. Okay, now continue forward.
Okay.
SantaCon.
Oh, that's the
for
official
those
name.
willing to participate. Yes.
Gotcha.
I'm always so jealous of all the Santa movies and all the Christmas movies, because the Dutch equivalent of Santa Claus is Sinterklaas, and instead of like a big jovial man, he's like an old like saintly dude. That's where Santa Claus was based on, was on like the Germanic tradition of Sinterklaas.
Right.
He's like this really like stately, proper elder guy, long white beard.
No reindeer.
But no reindeer. He has a horse though.
Does his horse have a name? Is it Rudolph? What's his horse name?
No, it's Amerigo. But you put the you put your shoes out, and then you put a carrot in it for the horse, and then overnight when you sleep, wake up the next morning, the carrot will be gone because the horse ate it, and there'll be a little gift, a chocolate or something like that. So a lot of Santa is based on that. But we don't get cool movies. Like the only Santa Claus movie I know about is like a horror movie, because the Dutch make a lot of horror movies. So
is it Rare
like
Exports? Is that Dutch?
What?
Is Rare Exports? Is that the Dutch one?
I don't know, but it's no. I think the movie that I know is just called Sinterklaas, but it's like a horrifying horror movie about like Dutch Santa Claus. That's the only movie I know.
Apparently, Rare Exports
movies
is Finnish, according to chat.
Christmas movies aren't great though.
I think
all right.
They can be good. They can.
Okay, give me one.
Jingle All the Way is a fantastic piece of modern movie history with Arnold in it. It's got Sinbad, maybe.
Sinbad.
Yeah,
Sinbad's in it.
It's great. It's great. Also, if we want to take the show this way, we could debate, is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not? Here in the almost summer. Die Hard's great. Scrooge.
Die Hard's great.
Scrooge is a great movie. If you haven't seen that before, with Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah. I have seen it a long time ago.
Yeah, it's still really good. Christmas Vacation. There's good Christmas movies. Now, I don't know if there has been new movies that are based on Christmas that are good. They sure as hell try every single year, but...
Do you think we'll reach a point where people are turning to Christmas movies during this isolation?
We might already be there. I don't know.
We're going to use up all of the content on the entire internet. I mean, we're getting close.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I was thinking about what it like if in terms of like a year, this is potentially the best time for this to occur, right? Because there's not really any major holidays. Like if this was occurring in Christmas, could you imagine how like it would be so hard, one, to keep people inside their fucking houses and not go see people, and two, it would just be the worst. It'd be awful if it was around.
This happened Yeah, and like in China during their New Year, it's basically
Oh, I
their
guess that's
Christmas.
true. Yeah, I guess
You
that's
know,
And
true.
we're that
Ramadan is
time.
coming up for us.
Yeah, and Ramadan,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
It's
I
great
guess it
for
is
a-
happening for certain cultures then that it is the worst time. Yeah. Didn't even think of that.
I mean, I really think a video solution will be interesting to see how many people adapt to it and use it, because it really can
Yeah.
connect. Like I really think that this, like even doing this show and everything, you're definitely talking and seeing people that you normally wouldn't, or even like the friends that have reached out to be like, hey, we should just have a video chat to see how's life been in the 5 years I haven't talked to you. I've talked to more people in isolation than I had when I wasn't isolating.
Yeah, you're more connected now than ever, I guess,
Yeah,
in that sense, for sure.
Yeah, like
because it's such a shared experience.
I wouldn't have like hung out with any of you, and that's cool. And I've also been having, virtual dinners with people in other cities that I probably would have waited until I was in the city and we would have had dinner. And now we just have dinner with like, a
So
Zoom meeting on the iPad.
what's that look like there? You just putting the iPad on like the edge of a dinner table where they would sit?
I just put an iPad. I have like a little stand, and then I have the old iPad Pro, like when it first came out. So it has like a really big screen, and so I just put it on there with FaceTime or Zoom, and I just put it there, and I have dinner with my friends. I even did one where we all dressed up.
Like a themed Zoom dinner party type deal?
Yeah.
I mean, the British games industry went all out for the BAFTAs, because last week there was the BAFTA Awards, which is the British Academy of Film and Television Awards.
Yeah, how'd that work? I
Those-
saw that those were announced, but was it just a room with no one in it? Like or
So
was it all
normally-
streamed, or how did that work?
So it was fully streamed this year, but normally it's a black tie only event. So I mean, I messed that up. The first year I went, I had no idea what black tie what it meant. So I showed up in a leather jacket, and they gave me a black tie and just put it on me and said, like, you know what, this is close enough for this year. Next year, bring a suit. But
That's hilarious.
but they so they streamed it this year, but a lot of the British games industry just dressed up anyway. They put on the clothes they were going to put on, and then did a big Zoom meeting and watched together, and it looked really adorable with everybody in their fancy dresses and suits and tuxes, and
Yeah.
just in a Zoom meeting. So yeah, I mean, it seems like the dress up party is pretty. I do the dinners thing as well. Like I do the calling friends to have dinner. I normally visit my mom every week to like play video games with her now that she's playing video games, and then I visit my dad on Sundays, and now I just make that phone calls. Like we just talk for like 4 or 5 hours on like videos chat or something. But yeah, that's the best we have right now is video, which for now is fine. I mean, it's nice how often you end up talking to people you normally don't talk to. I also noticed that in like meetings, because I'm in a lot of meetings, a lot of them now start with like a 10-minute conversation about life.
About how it's
Instead of
going.
just-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
instead of
very
straight
common
diving in.
now. It's
Because
very
before
true.
it was just like, hey, so let's get to work. And now it's like, how are you? It's like, oh, I never asked this person how they were ever before in my life. This is strange, but I'm glad we're doing this. There's a weirdly humanizing quality about this whole situation as well, where you're just all stuck in the same situation, and
Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
well, it's this weird thing where you're trying to like search out for positivity, where I think in the past it kind of just like existed. There was an air of like positivity that was everywhere, and now you turn on the news or whatever, you walk outside and it's just barren. Like there's nothing there, so you have to like seek it out. It'll be interesting to see when this is all over, like what sticks around from all of this, or if it'll just return to normal, right? Like
I mean, yeah, it's great if we fly a little bit less and travel a little bit less for just the planet and that kind of thing.
Yeah. You were talking about the.
I'm super guilty of it.
Oh
but
yeah, we all are.
I flew everywhere.
Totally. Yeah. You were talking about nature coming back into the cities and whatnot. Did you see the videos of Venice where like the crocodiles have returned and the water is clear now because the skiffs aren't constantly like drumming it up from the bottom of the floor bed and all that stuff, and the riverways.
Some of the water was clear, but crocodiles?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't seem
Is it crocodiles? Is it dolphins? Okay, it was
Dolphins,
dolphins. I thought I saw a
crocodiles, really?
crocodile. Hold on.
Basically
I gotta
the same
check.
thing, JP.
Let's
They
see.
look
Well,
alike.
because I'm thinking, I'm like, did they cross the Mediterranean from like? Did they do it?
Hold
Did these
on.
Crocs?
The
Were they
Egyptian
so happy?
crocodiles were just like, yo, we're out.
Yeah.
We're going
Yeah,
fast.
like the
I will find
Nile
this.
is so lame.
Talk
If it
amongst
was the same.
yourselves. I'm in deep research mode now.
Apparently,
Well,
crocodile was Photoshop. Apparently, but I'm trying to imagine a Venice tourist accident where Crocs were a thing. It's like that would be a very dangerous tourist destination if like one wrong paddle and there's like 10 Italian crocodiles there just ready to chomp.
Yeah.
It turns out they're all fake. It's just water eggs.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
all
guess.
water eggs.
I mean, I'm seeing a lot. It
Everyone.
was alligators first off, not crocodiles. So apologies.
But that would
for
be even more possible. That's a species exclusive to Florida area.
Plus, I think they're
Is it?
freshwater, right?
I think they're brackish
Weird.
water.
Man, we got a lot of.
Stretching our knowledge of animals
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
I'm
brackish
blathers.
water.
I was gonna say this
Blathers,
might be the
where
most
are
like
you?
animal-centric conversation that I've been in a long time.
Gators are freshwater apparently, and they're the Americas only. There you go.
So wait, are crocodiles? Can crocodiles exist in saltwater then?
I thought
Crocs
they were all
definitely.
freshwater. Oh, they can?
Brackish
internet.
water because I was in
Where is
I was
the
in
saltwater
Costa Rica.
crocodile?
Saltwater crocodile. Oh man, Crocs are scary. They're terrifying though. Oops, I just hit my desk. But man, crocodiles are easily the scariest animal. I think I would have to pick if we were doing like a what are we afraid of? Crocs would be probably number one.
Really?
The saltwater crocodile is also known as the estuarine crocodile, the Indo-Pacific crocodile, marine crocodile, sea crocodile, or informally as salty.
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 They
Oh.
are apex predators.
To go back to that, are we talking about like if you're locked in a room with one animal, what's the scariest animal? It'd be a croc. I think I would probably agree to that. A hippopotamus might actually beat out a croc though for me. Like a hippo will fuck you up. It doesn't give a
it's a-
shit. It'll just destroy
would.
you.
You're dead, but like what is I don't know how deep we want to go into this, but I think a hippo, yeah, hippos are their reputation definitely is of terrorizing the animal fear.
I'm 100% with blathers. Like, big thing that will like kill me, sure. But if it's like a tiny insect that will sting me and I'll die in like terrifying pain, like no, hell no, I'll take the hippo.
Yeah.
Like just bite my head off. That sounds way
That's
nicer.
true.
So if there's like
Yeah,
a
you could
brown
get real
recluse
sick
in
from a
there, you're
mosquito.
just not interested. That's where you're just out.
I'm out. Just I'm out. Blathers is right.
Okay.
Hey, I was very upset when I first got in Animal Crossing and Blathers does not like insects, and I love insects and I love spiders. So
Well,
Blathers
missed one.
it upset me. Like it made me like the game less because I'm like, all creatures are beautiful. Don't talk shit about spiders. Why are you talking shit about spiders? What's the deal?
Wait, so what do people do when they? Because I've only seen screenshots of tarantula hunts. What happened? So the guy that collects things does not collect insects.
No, he does.
No,
He
he'll-
just is mean to them.
Oh,
He just
He's
says
scared
not,
of them.
he says not nice things about him. And like
He says
in
not
an
nice
endo.
things about them.
Yeah.
And he's like, I guess I'll tell you about it if you want. And I'm like, yes, you will tell me about it. I'm going to make you suffer.
Yeah.
So the tarantulas, you get a lot of money for them. So you get 8,000 bells for catching a tarantula. But if it bites you, then you basically faint.
Oh.
That's why I see all those
And
videos.
they chase you down,
Yeah.
which is not actually what happens in real life, by the way.
Tarantulas won't chase you?
No.
Are there
But, I
any
mean-
spider? Wait, what about does a camel spider chase you? Don't Google camel spider, by the way. You don't want to see what they look like. But do they chase
Oh,
you?
I've already done a whole deep dive into the camel spider and
Do they
whether or not it will
chase?
chase you.
Okay.
So,
What's the
okay.
info?
So I guess, and this is based on an internet Google search from months ago. So
Okay.
take this with a grain of salt. It's that they're trying to hide in the shade and they see you as shade. Like just like spiders and things like that. They don't see you as food. Like you're not in their frame of reference. They're not like, oh, I'm gonna eat that thing, I'm gonna bite that thing or attack that thing. They're mostly thinking I'm gonna run away from that giant thing. Is mostly their plan.
Now,
Like they're never trying to bite you.
second question. Do camel spiders make a noise when they chase you, or is that fabricated as well?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
If an
I also think
insect
they're more
such
related to
as-
scorpions.
Yeah, scorpions are terrifying as well. But like, if an insect such as a spider does make a noise, like like a rattlesnake rattles because it's it has that. Like, how would a spider produce noise in the first place? Because don't they not breathe through lungs? Don't they have like a weird?
I don't know.
They have book lungs, which are like basically folds. They have like a high surface area, so that there's like big oxygen transfer. So
I
no, they
just
don't have
went
like
through that.
lungs.
The Atlas moth in Animal Crossing. Like I delivered that to Blathers, and he just went like they don't have mouth, so they can't eat. So when they go from being a cocoon to being a moth, that's all the energy they'll have for their entire life. And if they burn through it, they're dead. That's just it. There's no refilling. They can't eat. They can't regenerate energy. They can fly like a few times, and every time they fly, they take days off of their life. And I'm like, that doesn't sound. The evolution did something wrong here, but clearly it works. So
I guess, yeah.
I mean, I just think about it as like, yeah. I mean, I just think about it as like their main life is as a caterpillar, and then the moth is just this like couple day thing.
Right. When we used to own a lake house in like the Dallas Fort Worth area, a little like an hour or so from there, and mayflies would hatch. I don't know. Do you guys know what mayflies are?
Yeah.
They're a creature that lives about 24 hours, I think. And so usually like when they would have like the mayfly season, I don't know what you would call it, the fish would go insane because the mayflies would like fly and fall into the water and die mostly from that. And so the fish then just go crazy. And so that was like when the mayfly season was starting, you know, it was going to be a good time to fish because all the fish were eating all the bugs. And so we would walk down to the boathouse and just like, this is kind of gross, but we just pick a mayfly off from the side of the boathouse and just put it on a hook and catch fish. Like that was the bait that we used.
Economical.
Yeah, that's not gross.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Okay, good.
This is a stupid question, but okay, so it only lives 24 hours. It does its whole larval cycle just to die. But like, okay, because it's a super small creature, does it experience that 24 hours differently than like a scaled human like us? Like, I don't even know how to phrase this without sounding ludicrous, but like the smaller you are as a creature, do you experience time differently, or like the perception of time differently because you're so small?
Do you even experience time?
So.
Is a creature like that?
You wouldn't. Like the rising of the sun is like time for most animals based on like circadian rhythms if they sleep and stuff. But like,
right.
Would an insect does an insect experience time differently because of their size? Because bats don't experience gravity because they are so light when they're hanging upside down. Gravity doesn't affect their blood flow because the gravity doesn't apply to them because they're so light. So the rules of gravity on their circuits, like on their not their circulation, doesn't apply. Where like if you sit upside down, you're doomed. So like,
do you think turtles talk about us this way? They think,
turtles?
Maybe.
Yeah. Some of them are like 400, 500 years old. They're just like, these people, do you think they experience time?
Yes. I mean, okay, so yes. I think it's totally a valid question because when you were a kid, days felt like they were so long and you felt like they had so much time. And now as we get older and have experienced more time, the days seem so much shorter.
Right. Sure.
So I think there is something to that, like something that lives a shorter amount of time is going to experience time differently, even if they are small.
I know it. I appreciate that you kind of see the angle
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally get what you're saying.
Oh, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But it also, I always want to go then, okay, like what looks at us?
What's the opposite? Way? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're like the species on like the timeline of Earth looks at us like that, and they're like, these fools think they're living a long time, but humans have only been here. Exactly. So just like a mayfly is a blip to us, we're a blip to Earth.
Earth looks at us and says like, you motherfuckers are destroying me. I'm going to make a virus and then we're going to see what happens. Maybe too real. Maybe too real.
The amount of times I've wondered like if this was the end. Right, like it's an experiment I do in my mind a lot. Like if the world ended now and some aliens find Earth in like 5,000, 10,000 years, and they find our ruins and they go through our stuff, what is their conclusion going to be about us? And I think if that happened now, they would think like Animal Crossing was a religious cult. Like what we like. It was like a last minute religious cult, and then the world just ended because we apparently didn't go outside anymore or something like that. It's just we all prayed to toilet paper because we all have like 50,000 of it in our house. Like that was our main currency or something. They haven't quite figured it out. Like that kind of stuff.
Maybe
their god seems to be a raccoon named Tom Nook.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. They uploaded their consciousness to these devices and they recreated themselves, and thus maybe they'll think it's alive. Like Animal Crossing is our sentient final form of like we didn't need the bio body anymore because we had the silicone.
Yeah.
Or we stopped taking care of ourselves because all we did was take care of our people in Animal Crossing.
That's true.
Oh,
that's true. Let's take.
I mean, it's a little true, to be honest. I spent way more time cleaning up my Animal Crossing space than my.
Rami, I'm going to take your statement about animals, about aliens a little bit further. Rami, do you believe in aliens?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, they're
Rebb, yay or nay?
Oh yeah.
Okay, Morgan, 100%. Where are you at, Morgan?
Life on other planets?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement then, 100%.
I mean, I don't know if, in the infinity, there's something out there somewhere. It might be a slime mold.
Yeah, we're too big. It's too big. It's actually mind breaking. You can do thought experiments to like how big all of this actually is, and there has to be something else out there. Whether it's like you're saying a mold or,
What if the only contact they have with us is via Twitch? That's the only way for them to reach us.
Well, there's no way. I mean, it's just impossible to be discovered, so we're never going to find them. They just
have this Twitch channel with one viewer.
It's their mom. Their mom is watching them. Yeah, and
their mom's not really watching them. Their mom's like actually doing something.
Yeah,
but it just has it on.
Yeah. Also,
watching.
Now they know, Rami. Now they're going to find you. Yeah. The secret's out. Way to go.
I would enjoy this weird conceptual art Twitch channel, though. I would.
Yeah, now I would
watch that.
We're just going to have someone who makes up an alien on Twitch. There's probably an alien on Twitch or something like that. Use one of those like webcam programs or something and makes themselves look like an alien, or at least the normal gray egg-shaped alien type deal.
They're just very upset that they're chroma green and they don't show up in.
They are green.
Also, I guess that we should probably mention that an hour into this podcast. I like how we all have our green screens up and there's nothing on them. Mm-hmm. Rebb even almost has a green screen as well. It's just.
I see the keys now.
Yeah.
You see them now?
Yeah, they're cool.
They are little. There's like 6 different designs. It's I like a wallpaper wall. It's like I have 3 rooms in the house that have one, just because I like to have like a little, tackiness in each room.
Yeah. What's the tackiest wallpaper that you would say you're a fan of? Like, how far is too far for you?
I would say this is the least tacky, and that would probably that would say, well, oh my God, you have to show us the tackiest, but I'd rather not, just because I don't want people to know. Like, this is, if this is the most subdued, then that should just be.
Is it the type of wallpaper where if you were to ever to sell your house, you'd have people walking through the house to look at it and be like, oh yeah, we definitely changed that? Is it that?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is.
Is it in the bathroom? Because bathrooms always have the worst wallpaper.
No, it's in my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
It's bathroom or bedroom usually, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's all right.
Okay. Rebb, let's steer clear of that subject. I'm 100% reading the room. We're going to move forward. Let's not talk about wallpaper in the bedroom. Who would talk about that, Rami? Wallpaper in the bedroom.
There's this one time I had to do an interview while I was visiting my mom. And it was a video interview with, I think, Patrick Lebec or something. And so I recorded it, but my mom's...
Yeah.
He's lovely. My mom's wallpaper was in the background, and one of the comments on that interview was about how it was a hideous wallpaper, and my mom never got over it. She's still upset. She's still just like, "Do you think I should change the wallpaper?" I'm like, "No, Mom. It's a good wallpaper.
Oh, so
it fits your room."
She wasn't mad at the person for calling it out. She felt bad, like she owed that person.
She ended up feeling like this one person is like, maybe they're right. my mom isn't used to like dealing with the internet, so it was.
Yeah, my initial response was like, "Fuck that guy!" Like, who?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And my mom's response should have been that, but
Yeah.
my mom
Yeah.
is not that.
Yeah.
So she, it took her a few years. Now that she has her own Twitch channel and she has a nice community, I think it's a little better. But before, I think it took her years to be like, the wallpaper's fine. She put some new art up recently that fits the wallpaper, so I think she's good now. But
That's
So
good.
it's
Also,
there.
fuck
The
that guy.
wallpaper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck
I'll
that
like
guy.
that guy.
We'll
Yeah.
fuck that guy's a piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rebb, I want to talk to you about baking. Have you been baking a bunch of things in the lockdown world that we live in? And if so, what are you baking? And also, can you please give those recipes to my fiance so that I can enjoy them as well?
Of course.
Great.
It's been, I took like a 2-week off because I'm like, wow, I don't think I can't eat all this. So what am I going to do? I don't want to bake.
It's
and
the
have
best
no one-
problem. You know, I can eat all of it. So
It is a good problem,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, oh, if I sit at home and do nothing for weeks on weeks, eating all of that all the time, it's gonna be tricky. But yeah, I actually just made bread this morning. I'm making an Easter cake for the Easter celebration, but it'll just be like a more decorative thing than anything.
what goes in an
And-
Easter cake? Do you put a bunny in there? Or what's going on?
What? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm sure everyone's. It's basically like a tiered cake, and you have to dye the icing a robin's egg blue, and then you melt chocolate and flick it on it so it looks like a robin's egg cake, and then you get toasted coconut on top to make it look like a little nest, and then you put blue mini eggs on top. So see, it's stroop waffles, or and then that cake, that's a Friday cake. So that's what I'm making Friday.
I think I finally understand when people ask me like, "Hey, how do you set up OBS?" and I go into this like very long, detailed explanation. You just did that to me with baking, to where it just sounds so involved, and I'm just like, "Fuck!" Like I would never do that. That's so much work.
It's kind of because like if you work in a technical field like all of us do, like OBS setups, it's the same mindset, it's the same instruction following piece by piece. It's measured to the like in the same way it's measured to the, bit rate, you're
Right.
measuring to the teaspoon. There's no difference.
So are you saying I'd be a good baker? Is that what you're trying
Yes,
to?
I think
Okay.
everyone here would be a good baker.
Baking is good because you just follow the instructions.
Exactly.
But
You know,
but the alternative of that is it's very easy to. Rami, are you okay? Do you need some water or something? Okay, all right, we'll continue on. The alternative is it's very easy to fuck up baking because it's precise. In cooking,
Yeah.
you can fuck up and it's fine. It just means that like your eggs are a little burnt this time. If you fuck up in baking, it means like the cake didn't set or I don't know, some baking terms. I don't know. I need to watch more British baking show clearly, but
Then you get it right the next time because it's all about what happens when the heat gets added, right? So if the heat gets added, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's. Do you bake at all, Morgan?
I have baked a lot in my life. I'm not a big sweets person, so I don't do like
Okay.
cookies and but I grew up doing it. But mostly I do bread.
Yeah, bread is definitely.
So that's been like
Now,
a
bread,
major sustenance.
I'd be into bake. I think Erin actually ordered some. What did she got a thing for like having what's the yeast that you share with people? What's that called? The
a
mother
sourdough
yeast.
starter.
Sourdough starter. I think I
Yes.
have one in my
Starter.
mailbox right now. I'm
Yes.
excited.
Really?
My
She's
first
doing the same
sourdough
thing.
starter ever.
Yeah, Erin's doing the same
Also,
thing.
there's a book, and they give it the recipe for free on the website. It's called Artisan Bread in 5 Minutes a Day. And I swear to you, it is the easiest bread ever. You just mix up the flour and the water and the yeast, and then you let it rise for 2 hours, and then you put it in your fridge. And then whenever you want to have bread, you take the bowl out, take some of it off, make a little loaf, put it in the oven, and then you put the dough back in.
But-
Like there's no
Easy.
doubling or punching or anything like that.
How much bread are we talking here? Like, what's the amount of bread?
So you can make however much. So I
Okay.
do like a half sort of recipe, but that's enough for like, basically like 3 small loaves for me, like individual.
Well,
Like
let's.
two-person,
What do we
like-
think? Like, how big's the loaf? Like this big? What are we thinking? Like that?
So it'll be like
that? Where are
6
we?
cups of flour to like a 1-pound loaf, but it lasts in the fridge for 2 weeks. So
Okay.
I'll make focaccia at night in a cast iron frying pan, and then I put that in the oven. So if I have like soup, I'll put the bread in it, or if I'll make like a little crusty loaf. It does a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I'm telling
Probably
everybody.
make pizza dough
Artisan bread,
too, right?
5 minutes a day. Totally make pizza all the time with the same dough. I just take out some of the dough, stretch it out, and make pizza.
See, it's all like the same like seed ingredient. And yeah, like pizza, I just started making my own pizza during quarantine as well because I got a pizza stone and I was like, I guess I can use this. And yeah, same thing, same recipe for bread basically. Just let it sit longer in the fridge and then damn.
That reminds me, I get to call Rami out.
Uh-oh.
Morgan, thank you very much for the cast iron, or not cast iron, the pans that you gave us to cook with for our wedding. We got them. We used them
good.
last night. Rebb,
Yay, I love it.
thank you for the candles. I've got one right here. I use it daily.
Yay.
Rami, where the fuck's my gift? Where are we at? What'd you get me, Rami?
I'm going to deliver to you in person.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Come on.
Okay.
I'm
Fair
just going
enough.
to go straight up and just give it to you.
Fair enough.
Oh, he's gonna outdo us now. Oh, dear.
Maybe. I don't
Well,
know.
at least now I know what the competition is. So this is like.
I mean, look, these candles are fantastic. And let me tell you, nothing stuck to that pan last night at all. In the two things that we prepped, I made breakfast for dinner. It's one of my favorite. It's the only thing I can cook is eggs, like sausage links and biscuits and gravy. So
To be fair, the best.
yeah, it's good.
I can't bake. I love cooking though. Like for pretty much the same reasons I got before I almost died on a stroopwafel. But like going like just going down a recipe and just like figuring out where you can kind of do your own thing and kind of following the rules here. Like it's great. It feels like programming food in a weird way. What's the nerdiest way of describing cooking I've ever? Anyway,
what's like your what if you had like a dish that you were going to serve the three of us that you knew that we would love? What would it be? What's the go-to dish?
I mean, the safest dish that nobody has had that I can make is probably kosheri, which is the Egyptian. It's the Egyptian street food, effectively, like the way you think of like getting chicken nuggets or something. Maybe it's like the thing you can buy on every street corner.
What's it called?
Yeah. What's
kosheri?
How do you spell that?
Kosha. Well, it's in Arabic, so I can give you the closest way to write it in English.
Okay.
But Koshary. It's basically carbs on carbs on carbs on carbs on carbs.
Oh, it's Egypt's national dish, according to Google. Is that the case?
That would be it would be a pretty good way of describing it. It's rice with macaroni, with, if you have it, vermicelli, with lentils, with chickpeas, with tomato sauce, baked onions, and a little bit of sambo. It is very good. It is very mighty. Everybody that I've ever seen in Egypt try it for the first time. They go, "Oh, I'll have a medium," and it's like, that's a mistake. You won't eat again for like 4 days.
What would you say this
divine.
size is? What is this size?
That's pretty close. Yeah, that's kosheri.
That's
a big bowl though.
It's from the MediterraneanDish.com that has a recipe for it. So
that's a big bowl. Like you won't finish that.
What is there like a sauce that ties that together? Because it looks dry from this. Is there some?
It's a tomato sauce with sambo, so it has a bit of a kick.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little spicy.
Okay.
It's great. It takes 20 minutes to make. You make it in like a giant bowl, so you can eat from it for like days if you want.
Yeah.
It's very nice. If I do a dessert with it, I do a vanilla ice cream with black pepper ground through it with baked pineapple. So really good, like pairing those two.
Ooh.
The one is very mighty and a little spicy, and the other is very soft and very sweet. It's really nice.
All right.
So yeah, after this is over, I'm cooking for the three of you. That sounds fun.
There you go.
Sounds amazing.
That
You'll
sounds
bake, and then
unbelievable.
you bake, I'll cook, and JP watches.
I'll stream it. That's
You'll make breakfast.
Yeah, or I'll make breakfast. Yeah.
You'll make the breakfast.
Yeah. Like that. I discovered ghee like 3 years ago, and now it's just like I use it for eggs, put it on steaks, put it on biscuits. It's like the greatest thing.
Also, the Instapot helps cook.
So we had a long discussion about an Instapot on the first episode of the pre-show. I'm curious what your take on the Instapot is, and if you have any. Rebb, do you know what the Instapot is?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, Rami, are you in the? Okay, I don't know.
We're about to be educated.
Well, we have an Instapot. Apparently, I didn't know we did last show. That we never used it. It just kind of sits in our kitchen, which is a lot of stuff just sits in our kitchen because we don't really cook that much. But yeah, Morgan, what do you make in your Instapot? What do you? We're gonna have to get a sponsor from this fucking Instapot.
So
thing.
it's basically, I mean, think about it as like it's a slow cooker and a pressure cooker, but
Right.
it's electric. So something you can do is if you have a chicken breast that's frozen, you put the chicken breast in there, you put broth or something on top and all your spices. You close it up and you put like there's like a meat stew button and you push that button and then like 30 minutes later you come back and it can just shred and you can put it on your tacos or
30
anything
minutes?
like that. I just swear to you. It just
I
cooks
mean-
stuff super fast.
That's what Wheat was saying. He said the same shit.
Google says it's Canadian. Instant
The
Pot.
Instapot's Canadian?
Yeah, Instant Pot. Also
Well-
known as Instant Pot. It's a
Yeah,
Canadian
Instant
brand.
We have
Also,
the,
it's like
the
I can
Ninja
make a
Instapot.
bean soup really fast. So I'll do like batch cooking. I can't believe we're talking about cooking so much. So I'll do batch cooking. So I'll make a big pot of like bean stew with some veggies and all that stuff. And then I freeze it and then I vacuum seal it. So I can just take a portion out when I want it. But so it'll cook like all the like, bean stew, all that stuff really fast.
So it's
You know,
kind
one
of
thing
like
I realized-
Crock-Pot, sounds like.
One thing I realized that's different is North American fridges are huge compared to the European ones.
Really?
Yeah.
So many stories of North American fridges or North American families include like, oh, I'll just put that in a box or something and put it in the fridge for like a week. I'm like, I don't have space for that. I have like 6 of these in my fridge, and my fridge is full. That's it.
Wait, what do
Like,
you mean it's not as big? I'm perplexed. How like big?
My
How?
fridge is just size. My fridge can hold like nothing compared to yours.
So
Your
is it
fridges have,
small?
like,
Is it smaller like horizontally
directions.
or flatter? Like what?
full US. Every direction is bigger.
Because like
Your fridges are like deeper and higher and broader and like deeper, like all of it.
let me ask you now. This is gonna sound absurd. I know, but let's just go with it. Can you get Skype on a fridge in Europe? Because I have Skype on my fridge.
Why?
What?
Because look, it was okay. I knew I was gonna have to
Do you
explain
have the
myself.
Samsung smart appliances?
Yes, we do. We have the whole suite of Samsung smart appliances.
It all makes sense.
We've got when you shut the door, it does a jingle. If you don't shut the door, it yells at you.
Is it like actually yell like properly?
It says like, please shut the door.
Oh,
That type of stuff.
It says that?
Yeah.
I really want. There's been a few devices in my life that I've really wanted to mod, and like GPS was at the top of it because I've really wanted to make a GPS that just has 20 seconds of silence before every voice clip, so you can record like, oh, we should have taken that exit. And just make a GPS that's always late. But now I want to add that fridge to it. I just want your fridge to be really upset at you.
Man, we could. Okay, fuck it. Over the weekend, to talk about the more stupid appliances that we have, the house that we moved into, we kind of smart home the fuck out of it, and our shower in our master bathroom is like I can start the shower from my phone. It's all digital.
What?
In the sense, and there's no knobs or anything. It's just like an LCD screen that goes on the wall. But the issue was over the weekend that in Aaron's office, it's a separate part of the breaker of the house, and the breaker died in the middle of the night, which means that the bathroom shower went into battery mode, and it runs off of 8D batteries in this little closet. So that ran out. So we couldn't use the shower for 72 hours because we had to go to the store to get batteries. We put the batteries in, and it worked. This
is hubris. This
yeah.
is hubris.
Look, we had a power outage once, and I couldn't open my trash can, Rebb.
control?
Okay, my trash can is voice controlled, and I couldn't open it. It wouldn't
Is your
open. I
shower
couldn't
voice
throw shit
controlled?
away. No, it's only phone controlled. Basically, the shower operates like this. You've got 2 buttons. There's a 4 button. We went for the like cheaper one, but it just has like 2 things. So you press, like for me, I press 1. And it heats the shower up to a certain temperature, and then it turns the shower off. So then when you're ready to get in the shower, you just press it, and then it's immediately mine's 107 Fahrenheit. It just sits at that temperature no matter what.
What's that in real temperature?
That's like 30.
40.
Is it 40? Yeah.
I think it's 40.
That's right. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it also has little custom messages there for the people using it. So, yeah. Anyways,
What's the custom message? You're doing great.
It
Is it
wasn't
like an
one time.
affirmation?
Let me pull up the app here. Mine is.
Does it tell you if you don't shower enough? Is that a thing?
No, it doesn't.
It's been a while.
It doesn't.
Yeah, just like passive aggressive. I had an electric toothbrush that would sync with my phone.
Is that showing? Mine says, "Your shower is ready, sir." Is what mine says.
Sir, even.
Yeah.
Have you been knighted? Is this official? Is this
true. Yeah.
Oh,
You
wow.
can buy a tiny plot of land in Scotland to get an official knight's title if you want.
Really?
How much does that
Yeah,
cost?
it's like a service token. It's pretty cheap, apparently. There's like just this people. There's a bunch of people with this giant plot of land somewhere in Scotland, and apparently Scottish law says that if you own a plot of land, you're a lord or a lady. So they're selling that land by like the square meter or something.
$49, guys. This could be our time. I could be a lord or a lady. Ladyship pack.
Do you get to make up your own like banner name, like title?
I don't know. I mean, you could also just start calling yourself lord or lady, but it's not. I don't think there's any legal.
How does that actually? So when you get knighted by like the queen, do you get a sheet of paper that like signifies that? Does that go on your license? Like, how does that work? Is it just
I went
a title?
to lunch with the queen. I didn't get a title. I don't know this shit.
Okay. I mean, maybe just in general, you would know.
Let's find out. How do like?
I'm sure there's there's probably some record keeping of all those who were knighted during the reign of a certain monarch, right? Because you not only do you get the title, you get the who knighted you. So it's like,
right.
It's gonna sound medieval because that's where probably the practice started, right? But like you had just it's probably like calligraphy, totally analog book where you write like who knighted who on what day, and it's just a ceremony that is continued for the sake of the ceremony.
So in a sense, I could start knighting people in a book myself, and that would work. If I gave people like a medal and like a certificate.
Totally.
But then would they have to recognize me as a king of something?
You know how many stories exist of people who pretended to be a country and then got in trouble?
Really?
There's so many. Oh yeah, there's.
Is that a big deal? Who polices that?
Nobody. It turns out there was this guy who started his own micronation, and like it got so out of hand that he started going to the United Nations and stuff.
Really?
And like eventually they were like, "Mate, listen, no."
It was cute for a while.
Is that how like Christmas Island started? Or was that a thing that
I don't know. There was the other one where they got in conflict with like the USSR. And like
that's not who you shouldn't get in conflict with. Yeah, stay away from that.
And apparently and this was like 5 friends who had like their own island or something. But they pissed off the USSR and then got in trouble with them and then had to like back off their bluff. I don't remember the full story of that, but I think it involved them calling their fisher boats because it was a bunch of friends that had fishing boats and then would go to this island. I think they had a constitution that said
it's called the Kingdom of Lovely.
I have no idea.
I mean, at least they have a cute name.
They had a constitution that said that only guys could go there because it was a guys retreat, and that pissed off somebody in the USSR who wrote a thing about it. So then they basically send a letter that article had to be retracted.
Huh.
And then
they really didn't want any girls on their island, really?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, apparently they called their boats the Navy, so the USSR declared it valid military targets. And then they had to be like, oh, okay, well, we're sorry.
Man, that's either like that someone took it too far. I have no idea
how much of this is true, but I really want it to be true. I don't know where I don't know where I read it, but it in my heart, it's true.
In my mind, not having any experience with Animal Crossing, this sounds like Animal Crossing to me. Someone who makes an island that doesn't allow girls on it.
Tom Nook is a villain. Is what we need to take him out. We need.
He is of the fallen USSR. He is
he's doing bad things.
Traditional man.
Apparently, the place that was with the United Nations was Sealand, SEA land. I guess is a documentary or something like that.
It was like an oil rig or something.
Huh. That's even crazier. I'm just thinking about how that would work. So
Yeah,
that's like someone taking a goof too far, right? Like that's like me asking, like, can I just knight people and then like going through with it, and then you have like knights fighting other knights or some shit.
I mean,
sure
this is how this show started, so like
that's true. Yeah.
There's also Christiania, which is actually a real place in Copenhagen, which is like in the heart of Copenhagen. There's this little independent
place
thing that is technically, I guess, part of Copenhagen, but also technically, I'm not sure what the specifics are.
Is it like the city? Is it like the
Vatican?
Yeah, the Vatican. Yeah, the place where the Pope lives.
I mean,
Vatican.
it definitely doesn't have a Pope. It's mostly like I have no idea what exactly the reality is of that place, but the way I've been told is it started as sort of like a drug haven that just went independent because they didn't want to deal with the law, and then just turned into this nice little community that, according to some people, is like hard criminal, and according to other people, it's just like the nicest free spirit town.
Sure.
So I don't know which one is true, but
drugs were probably involved.
It might have a Pope, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Huh.
That sounds fun, though. One day, when the world comes back to normal, I would love to go visit it.
Are there any, and Rami, you're exempt from this question. Morgan and Rebb, are you guys looking up like destination spots? I guess I could spin it this. Are you guys thinking about what you're going to do first when all of this like is done? Have you got to that point yet where you're like, man, I can't wait for this to be over because I'm going to go do this? Is there a this yet? Have you formed a thought on what that is? Or is it just, I'm going to go back into my office and return to normalcy?
I miss my friends. I mean, I see them, but, they're just sort of like I love my friends. It's a special crew of people, and just all the really, just like seeing other humans and having that sort of like unstructured time with people is something that I really miss.
Sure.
Versus we are having dinner for 2 hours and that's it.
Yeah, scheduling things suck. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes it feel inauthentic. True.
2 of my friends got puppies during the quarantine. So for me, it's like the first thing I'm going to do is go puppy visit because I can't have pets. So to have 2 of my closest friends, they don't know each other. They're just friends at different vectors. For each of them to get puppies in this time is torture, I would say, because I can't see them and they're going to be grown by the time I go. So
that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Potentially. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, so I have to go meet these fur babies. I think that'll be the first thing I do is go see the puppy.
Rami, what about you? Is it get on an airplane and feel at home again, or what's your plan?
Find any hill.
You're still stuck on hills. You just like hills.
It's the biggest thing about travel for me is that it gives me contrast. I think over the past 10 years, I've been traveling so much between such varied places. That being in LA the one moment, and then in like Johannesburg, South Africa the next, and then in like a little town in Colombia after that. Like seeing the world with that much contrast, it really drives home just how amazing most people are and how amazing the world is.
Sure.
I've really come to like the Netherlands. I must admit, like when I started traveling, I really thought this place was the most boring place on earth and nothing ever happens here. And you know what? That's true. But it's also
that's what makes it great. Yeah,
it's great. It's like it's one of the best places I've ever found to live because just nothing happens here. It's like the most chill place to live. But I miss the contrast. I really miss the like, oh, this is how other people like live their life. This is their culture. This is their life. This is their music, their movies, their hopes, dreams, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get used to seeing it. You get used to not feeling. You start to feel at home, not at home. And it's really hard for me to feel at home. And it would be fine if I could go visit my mom and my dad, but I can't even do that. So
sure,
I'm gonna go visit my mom and dad. I'm gonna go find a hill somewhere. Okay. We have one hill in the Netherlands.
Don't you have like sand dunes?
Yeah, but those are not hills. That's because the rest of our country is underwater. That's just the part that's actually at 0 elevation. The rest of it is just under it.
Wait, so a hill for you has to be above 0 elevation?
I mean, the dunes are just that's not a hill. That's what keeps
Or
us
zero
alive.
sea level, I guess. Not elevation. That would be
Like,
anything.
if those go, we drown. It's not good.
How
So
often
that's
does
more
it
like-
flood?
I mean, the last big flood was like 1953, and it killed like tens of thousands of people. We learned to swim really young. The Dutch are like the most sober country, but also we are literally at war with the sea. Like, we're the people that people call when their cities flood, because they're like, yo, you've been doing this for like hundreds of years. Is water bad? And we're like, yeah, water is bad. True. At the same time, we also like murdered an entire sea of fish because we turned it into a freshwater lake. And
So you're the reason if Aquaman's real, we're fucked because of you. Is that what you're saying?
Basically.
Okay, great.
Yeah. We got a lot better at stuff like this. We're really good with water now, but hills
can found you. You just stop and look. Well, I don't got the ideas.
No, you don't understand how flat this country is.
I lived in Texas, so maybe, potentially.
No, Texas is like all the hills compared to us. You have places that can flash flood.
I guess that's true.
Like elevation. We don't. We have one mountain in the Netherlands. We call it a mountain. It's called the Kouberg, which is the Cow Mountain. The elevation is 226 feet.
That's it?
Wow.
We have a ski lift up that hill. Because that's the biggest hill in our country. Like,
well, that explains why you guys like cycling so much, because no way is up and no way is down. So you don't have to be like, oh, if I bike, I don't have to bike to work and home. And like, if I do that, home is like 3 times as long because it's all uphill. But for you guys, your whole country's flat. So your cycling game is just, it's not hindered by elevation.
Or they're not good or bad. It's just a normal cycling because everyone else is having to struggle, right? So they get better. And in Rami's land, they're normal. It's fine.
Rami land.
Yeah, Rami land.
I
forgot the country, and so I just put Rami land and it worked.
The Kouberg is literally, it's the funniest thing because we have an actual ski lift. Like, we call it a mountain.
Is it like the little ones for kids, like the little T ones?
No, literally just a ski lift. Because
it's like a regular ski lift that
what
you sit
the fuck
on?
are you lifting people on if you don't have hills? Why do you have a ski lift? Isn't that supposed to go vertical?
That's the only lift we have.
Oh, it's at this hill. That's 200 feet.
It's at this mountain.
Okay.
It's the only lift.
Mountain.
226 feet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, don't call it mountain.
I thought you were just saying that you had like multiple ski lifts.
It's funny because the word berg is actually just technically, I think it's German for hill, and the majority of that hill is in Germany, so it's not even a mountain. It just happens that the Dutch word for mountain is berg, so we end up calling it the mountain.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, that's it. That's the any direction out of my apartment, there's just flat horizon, just nothing else.
So what safeguards do you have then against flooding? Do you have like?
So that's an interesting one. We call them boulders, which is not a word that I think has any translation in any other language because I think they're uniquely Dutch. But basically, we've segmented our country into parts of land with elevated sort of ridges around them, like man-made elevated ridges of a few meters high.
Yeah.
And we can selectively choose to flood those in case of emergency to keep major population centers safe.
So if shit goes down, it's like the Hunger Games then, and someone's
we just sacrifice a whole bunch of farmland and cows.
Oh, okay.
Like
it's not like cities or anything.
We're trying to keep those safe with the boulders.
Yeah.
But we actually won won wars or like won major war battles by flooding land. It was like a Spanish army going north.
Man,
damn, that is bold. You're like, nope, come on, keep coming. Yeah, right about there.
Yeah. Pull the lever. Jesus.
The Netherlands are brutal. Like they're not kidding around with this water thing. But that was a real military victory. You're like, yeah, well done, Netherlands.
So what is like the geologist's view of Netherlands' flat existence? Is it like, oh, a glacier was just such a rock star, it just pushed all the mountains down to Switzerland, or like what? Like, because Canada's all glacial. Everything we have in Canada is like glacial. This melt that.
I think we're basically just we're the seabed. Like we're mostly marshes. We reclaimed the majority of our country from the sea, which is why we're good at the water thing. But technically, this shouldn't be land. When my grandma was born, we had like a 12th less of country. At some point, we just went, we need some more land. And we turned the majority of a lake. We turned the sea into a lake and then reclaimed like a third of the lake to be land.
My God.
Jesus.
That was
Bizarre
in
to
my
think about.
Yeah, we're just like, yeah, this sea, there's the North Sea in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Has anybody, if you ever wondered where the South Sea was, which you probably haven't, but that used to exist until we turned it into a lake.
How did you do that?
Fuck if I know, but it killed a lot of fish.
Rami's a game dev. He's
I just don't know if it's like if it was a long time ago or versus now where we just get some like giant desalination thing.
Yep.
Oh my God,
No,
I
I
love
think
it.
we literally just built a giant wall, and then it just turned into fresh water eventually. And it turns out that saltwater fish can't live in fresh water,
right.
so they die.
So wait, did you have to repopulate them with like freshwater fish, or do just no fish?
I guess I never really looked into what they did. We're really good with that now. Now, when we do anything with water, we're like, oh, we have to be careful about the wildlife that lives there. I guess back then it was just like, we need more land.
Yeah.
We're going to build a wall.
Sure. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Damn.
sounds like humans.
Yeah,
Right.
I know. I was just going to say, that does sound like humans.
Yeah.
As I
It also-
decimate other islands in Animal Crossing.
We also have this amazing string of islands that the Waddeneilanden, and they're called the Waddeneilanden because the sea between the land, the coast of our land and the island is so shallow that during low tide you can walk.
Really?
That's so cool.
And it's really, yeah, you can literally just walk to the islands as long as you do it during specific low tides. It's really cool.
I'd be terrified that like it's not gonna be that long, or like the timing is off, and then you just get flooded and you're dead.
You get a late start.
Yeah,
You're kind
yeah,
of
like
walking slow.
alarm clocks become really important in that neck of the woods, I would assume, because if you're late, you're not gonna make it across.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a problem. I mean, these are tours that happen, so you can do that with professionals, but that's the thing. I've never done it because it sounds like a very hard walk.
Yeah, I would think.
It's
Oh
like
yeah, you're
really
slogging
stupid.
through seawater.
That's got it. Yeah.
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 But sounds like
Maybe
a
this
thing.
is your
Like
time.
Yeah, maybe that's
yeah,
what.
when there's nobody else around.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably not the smartest thing. That's true. That's true.
Oh,
Reb, any fun
I
facts
know
about Canada?
humans.
Oh, man. I think we don't nearly, well, we have like lots of cool stuff in the wide ecosystems in which we have across our second largest landmass of a country, right? Like there's Russia, then Canada, but you guys have Alaska here for Americans, so you guys kind of get all of the post Carolinian weather climates, and then Alaska as well.
Yeah. I mean, we
But, yeah,
claim
I think-
Alaska whenever it's convenient. Otherwise, they just
Yeah.
kind of like, they just hang out.
They just hang out.
Bears
Anchorage
and
kinda-
stuff, we hear about it every once in a while, and
Yeah.
that's kind of it.
Well, Rami did the drive from Montreal to Banff, so you've seen like Montreal is it's up there, but it's not like
Yeah.
the upper Canadian like where like the Canada links are or anything. It's quite metropolitan. But driving to Banff, you would have seen everything, right?
You see a lot, but a lot of planes. It was honestly quite impressive. But it was also a lot of at some point I genuinely felt like the level designers ran out of money and just like copy pasted the same thing 8 times in a row or something. Like these 20 kilometers we're just gonna loop. But
Was
yeah,
was it farmed or just empty?
very hard to tell. Like in the US you can usually tell from whether there's fences around it, but here it was just land frequently.
Any animals
Yeah.
on it? Like buffalo, elk, or anything? Nothing?
I mean, I hit a deer on the way back.
I remember
What?
That was
those
in the
tweets,
US.
yeah.
Well, okay, that's not entirely true. A deer hit me.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It ran into the side
That's
of
what
my
everyone
car.
says, Rami. We all know you got some extra points.
Oh man.
You ran
It was
into
rough.
the side of your car?
It ran into the side of my car. Yeah, and I was so looking for deer because I once dated this American girl who always taught me, like, you got to be careful for deer because they are idiots. Like, they're the
Oh, yeah.
smartest animals you'll ever meet. You know, they can smell you from miles away, but they will just straight up run into your car if you're going like 60 miles an hour.
Yep.
So I was looking the side of the road, but this deer came across 4 lanes of highway on the other side, jumped the mid-berm, and then just ran straight into the side of my car.
When you say side,
then,
like what? Like passenger, driver's side window? Where are you at?
Driver's side, it hit the front mirror. Okay. And then just kind of like disappeared behind the car. That's the last I saw of it, because when I looked back after I managed to swerve the car into the what do you call it, emergency lane, the shoulder.
Yeah.
The deer was gone. I just fucked up. I was just like, that hurt. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And it just, I didn't have a mirror anymore, and that was a whole ordeal because I called the U.S. cops and they came and they just went like, yeah, that doesn't look like $1,000 of damage. We'll write you a little receipt, but you can keep driving. I'm like, I do not have a mirror. They're like, yeah, just be careful. I'm like, excuse me. I had to return the car to Canada, and in Canada, the law is like, if you don't have a mirror, you don't drive the car.
Right.
So that's it.
I mean, that's the law as well in the U.S., but
yeah,
the cop didn't know that. Like the police officer
I think it was more like the cop didn't care.
Yeah.
I think it's what happened.
Anyway, so I had to exchange the car, but then Hertz in America refused to exchange the car because I could still drive it. And they said, you should exchange it in Canada. And I said, if I go into Canada, I'll get arrested. And they said, well, that's, you should fix that in Canada. And I'm like, I can't get to Canada because... So it took me I had to drive to Omaha and then 4 hours south to get my car exchanged. And then drive to Canada, which is actually north. So it was...
They made you drive 4 extra hours out of the way? Jeez.
South. And then back up north because I had to get to Canada.
What car company was this? Hertz?
Hertz.
Yeah. Don't rent Hertz. We're not going to get a sponsor from Hertz.
It was not my greatest. It was not my greatest renting experience I've ever had.
Huh.
I mean, we had a really nice car. For the first part, it was a really nice car because it was a Dodge Charger. So it did really well pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
And then for the second part, they just gave us the shittiest whatever they could give us. But it had a mirror. So.
Did you get a Canadian? Are there Canadian cars? Are there Canadian brand cars that only exist there?
Not that I've seen. No, everything is, we do a lot of factory work for American car companies. There's a lot of Toyotas produced here, but there's no, I know every time I go to Europe, it's like, oh, a Citroen or a Peugeot and stuff. And I'm like, we do not have those in Canada.
I could not believe that Opel just doesn't exist in the US or North America. That was I had never realized that wasn't a thing there.
What's Opel? Opel? Is that a car manufacturer?
Yes.
Okay.
It's when I was growing up, every car we had was an Opel, but just never seen an Opel in the US. And it took me 4 years until I went are there, do these cars exist here? And they're like, what? I'm like, no. Okay. It's weird because for me, that's my childhood car. We had an Opel.
That's even weirder too, because apparently chat's saying that Opel is owned by GM. So I guess they just don't care to bring it over to the US. Yeah, or maybe rebranding. I've never seen an Opel. I know
there's some rebranding. A Ford Taurus is called something else in Europe, or there's different names there's localized market names for the same exact car, same chassis, but it's called something in different regions just for whatever reason.
Huh.
Or different flavors of M&Ms existing in different countries in the world freaks me out as well. Why is that a thing?
Different flavor of M&M.
You've got M&M's Crispy, which are
what?
So they're blue packaging and they're sort of bubbly, crispy on the inside. They're my favorite. But in the US, that color is almond or something. I don't know.
Blue's almond.
And Pringles, the orange Pringles over there are
cheese. Yeah,
here they're
Cheeto
paprika.
cheese type stuff.
I was shocked the first time because I went I'm getting some paprika Pringles, and I ate it and I was suddenly eating cheese. It's when you're thinking you're drinking a soda but you're drinking milk. It's the worst. You just you're like, this soda is bad, and you just like spit it out. That's what happened to my Pringles.
Yeah, paprika Pringles sound good. I've never had them.
Yeah,
amazing.
I've probably had paprika before. What was paprika taste like? If you had to describe it. I'm the type of person that eats Rebb knows this, that eats like stupid, highbrow food, but I could not tell you the taste of anything. Like, oh, that's this. I just like, oh no, I don't know what I just ate. It tasted good though.
I used to like chorizo. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
chorizo, paprika is what makes chorizo that color sausage. So it's a lot of paprika, and then there's other things, but it's like a core.
Okay.
Seasoning.
I like using it in soups and stews because it kind of gives it that rich, dark color and flavor, and it has like that's why you smoke paprika, so it has like a really smoky, deep flavor to it.
Wait, how do you smoke paprika? Do you smoke it before
you buy it
grind
in the store that way?
Oh, okay.
It's just red bell pepper. Like it's like the vegetable of bell pepper, but it's just been like in the same way you can have powdered onion, powdered garlic.
Really?
Paprika is a preparation style of pepper. I think it literally means pepper in a language that I
had
don't
no
know.
idea.
That's another hard thing I never realized with language. Like I've learned to speak English pretty well, but food and birds.
What? What about food and birds?
I don't know the names of anything in English. Like I don't know the name of any bird in English.
Like a blue jay?
Plants?
A robin?
I don't know what word that is. I never like.
Wait, so hold on. What do you think of Batman and Robin? What is Robin named after?
A roodborstje? Spreeuw? Is this spreeuw? I don't know. What is that in Dutch?
Bird.
That's a robin's.
I know it's a bird. I don't know what bird.
Oh,
it's a roodborstje.
It's a what?
Okay. Roodborstje.
So wait, is it called Batman and whatever the fuck you just said? I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. Okay, it's called Batman and Robin.
We translate, we don't.
Well, it's not like you don't translate Batman, I guess. Yeah, it does. Stupid statement.
That would be cool. Vleermuisman would be a very bad name.
Yeah, everyone loves that. It's great.
It's funny because some names get translated. Like I also don't know any Disney songs. I can sing them to you in Dutch.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know that. Like somebody had to translate that to me. In Dutch is wat je van beren leren kan. And I was like,
wait, so what?
I've never heard that.
I'm trying. What's the most well-known Disney song, Morgan and Rebb? What would it be? The biggest.
Lion King, probably. Circle of Life.
Circle of Life, maybe.
I think we didn't translate that one.
It was Elton John, and he's very mainstream, so you have to be like, okay, if you get Elton, you get Elton.
Let It Go might be bigger.
I would have said Small World. Yeah.
Or Small World, yeah.
It just going to depend on the era.
It's true.
The Mermaid one.
Are those all?
Most of them get. So we don't tend to dub our movies, but we do dub our children's movies. So
really,
yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense, right? Because how else? Yeah,
like we had Donald Duck. It was Donald Duck, but Scrooge was Dagobert Duck. And then when somebody said Scrooge McDuck, I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. And they showed me an image, and I'm like, oh, it's Dagobert. And they're like, what? I'm like, there's this moment in every like non-English child's life where they realize that Disney characters aren't named what they think they are.
Right.
Really painful.
Is there any Disney-centric movies that are? I'm trying to think if there are any Disney movies that are based off the Netherlands or based in the Netherlands.
The only time I've seen the Netherlands recently in any movie was in Spider-Man in Far From Home, when there's like one scene over a tulip field, and they found Lily. Like the thing is, the name of the place is real. That place exists, and it's like Langebroek or something. Like Lily, it's like 3 streets, that entire village, and it doesn't look like that at all in the Netherlands. But it was the last time I've seen the Netherlands in a movie. The Hitman's Bodyguard was actually. Usually they just kind of go and put it in Germany, and they just go, "This is Dutch."
Wait, The Hitman's Bodyguard? What is that?
That was the
Ryan
movie. Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, somebody else. That was actually in the Netherlands.
Okay.
Samuel Jackson.
Right. I never saw that.
I don't know. The only children's there's every Dutch children's series though is so messed up. We have I don't know if it's Dutch or Belgian, but they speak the same language mostly. There was a series called Alfred Jodocus Kwak. Alfred J. Kwak. And it's this cute little bird. And there's some unique stuff about this series. It's this cute little yellow duck. And the series starts when he's born, right before he's born, with his mom meeting his dad, and then they have a kid, and it's like this cute little series, and that's episode 1. And he has some brothers and sisters. And then episode 2, his entirely family gets run over by a car. And from that point, he's like growing up an orphan and like being raised by like this mole. And then from there, the series just goes completely like you follow this duck through his entire life. But he has a friend named Dolph who is like a pretty obvious Adolf Hitler like representation. And there's like, and I just watched this as a kid and I'm like, this is such a cute show. And I'm watching it again. I have no idea what they feed the Dutch kids.
What the fuck?
Like, yeah, if you look this up, it's
I'm
like
watching
Bambi
it right now.
Bambi was easy. I watched that. I'm like, well, this seems like a children's show.
Yeah, I guess Bambi was like the children's show growing up for me, or it was a children's show. I grew up more on like Street Sharks. That was a big thing when I was growing up.
What is Street Sharks?
Street
Are they
Sharks
actual
was
sharks?
Street Sharks was a show of humanoid sharks that were a gang, I think.
They're buff, super buff.
Yeah, they're
and
like
they were
real
so
buff
jacked.
people. Yeah.
I have never heard of.
Street
Did you have
Sharks.
the toys?
Yeah.
And you push
Oh
their
my
fins down
God.
and their mouths open? Do you remember
Yep.
them?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We had all the
Oh, I had
that.
every one.
We
There
did
was
that.
the
GI
Hammerhead.
Joe or GI Joe before that. Transformers before that.
Were their names really
Wow.
like hipster? And
They look hipster.
no, what were their names?
Oh God,
Oh, I loved my Street Sharks toys. I had every one, and I was obsessed.
I don't remember a lot of their names.
Ripster, Jab, Streaks, and Big Slamu.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember Streaks. I remember that guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Gargoyles was great. Yeah, I rewatched all of
Oh,
Gargoyles
I
when that hit
love
Disney.
gargoyles.
It was really good. It actually still
I haven't
holds
seen
up.
it in a long time.
It's on Disney
That
Plus.
is good to hear.
Yeah, you can watch it on Disney Plus. It's remarkable.
Oh my
People in
God,
chat are
Street
saying
Sharks.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Biker
I
Mice
remember
from
Biker-
Mars. I remember
was
that.
tough.
There was another one too they mentioned. What was it?
Biker Mice from Mars.
Oh, I remember
Yeah,
that.
I looked for years for the intro of Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest was. I don't
It
know if
was
I
this
actually enjoyed
weird-
Johnny Quest.
I don't know either, but I vividly remember that that intro with that weird 3D green
Oh, yeah.
like topology, and you're like going through it. It had like the that,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I just had that. I couldn't find it for years until a few years ago. Somebody linked it to me, and I'm like, oh, that was it.
Yeah.
There's laws in Canada that you have to show so much Canadian content on televisions because we're so close to America. The Canadian arts industry has a tough time competing with all of these wonderful shows we mentioned.
Sure.
So like 40% of all network television has to include Canadian content. So like there's just a lot of Canadian cartoons growing up. There's like a parallel universe where when you were watching those things, the Canadian version of it was like, I don't know how many Canadians are listening or watching, but it's like Caillou was Canadian, I'm pretty sure, and that made it to the US at some point.
Caillou? I don't.
That's the
Maybe
little
not.
kid, the tiny little kid.
The little kid. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Reboot was Canadian.
Reboot was Canadian? That show was
Yeah.
fantastic. I think they actually
Totally.
rebooted Reboot like recently. Or they're planning
believe
to or
they
something
did.
like that. Yeah.
I think so, but I
I didn't
there's like
watch it, but Reboot was really
Yeah.
good.
yeah, Reboot what was what was the world they were in called?
Oh God, now
I forget. I'm getting too deep into to Reboot, but yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of like Canadian cases in
Mainframe.
the mainframe.
What
Yeah.
chat's saying. And
Yeah, yeah.
Megabyte was the bad guy, right?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's the best.
So yeah, the like offshoot creative industry in Canada is always competing with of course the Hollywood right below us. So
What's like the biggest in your eyes? What's the biggest Canadian like movie / TV series of all time? Culturally,
all time?
yeah, like culturally, like what are
Is can I say Trailer Park Boys?
Maybe, yeah. Degrassi is one that came to mind too, right? Because
Oh,
Degrassi kind
right.
of blew up, but
Oh, Degrassi.
Trailer Park Boys is pretty big.
Yeah. Degrassi, Trailer Park Boys, Kids in the Hall was we were really into, the country had a lot of comedy. Like Lorne Michaels is Canadian, creator of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. SCTV was populated by half Canadians, like John Candy, Martin Short, all those guys, Eugene Levy, they're all Canadian. And then Kids in the Hall was their own little offshoot thing. And then, yeah.
I had no idea.
I just learned about Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah. Do you know what is it? Letterkenny? What is that called?
Letterkenny is very Canadian as well.
Yeah. Have you heard of that, Morgan?
No.
That's been a big craze recently. I think it has
Letterkenny?
I think it has like 2 or 3 seasons. I know Dodger and Strippin talk about that show nonstop.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, they're
I will
huge
watch
fans of it. Yeah. I don't know where they're watching it, whether it's on Amazon or Netflix or what, but
I was trying to think if the Dutch have anything. We have nothing, I think.
You don't have hills. You have
we don't have
hill.
I mean, we have. I don't really like Dutch movies anyway. I was thinking of
Hulu,
Egyptian ones because I'm obviously like Dutch Egyptian.
Yeah.
But then I realized that the biggest TV series I watched as an Egyptian kid was called Captain Magid, and it was this soccer anime. And a few years ago, I realized that it's just a Japanese anime series dubbed in Arabic, and I never realized. So that hurt a little.
Yeah.
So, like, the one thing I remember is like my purely Egyptian childhood is just straight up like it's yeah.
You're like, wait a minute.
And,
This is just
yeah, it was
dumb.
Captain
Those
Tsubasa in
people are
I
Japanese.
think like that's kind of a really telling point, and not to bring it back to the pandemic, and I don't know because I only watch the English versions of everything, but when you see the director of the WHO giving their news in English, like I don't know how many languages that gentleman speaks, but it really kind of puts it into perspective of like, okay, possibly the first language to get the news is people that speak English. And it really kind of, in my mind, it breaks my brain a bit that like if you were born knowing only one language, only knowing English, you're just in such a weird position where you've never had to try and learn a different language to get news of that level, and then the rest of the news outlets have to translate and go through all these layers, and it really makes you realize, like, I don't even know what it makes me realize, but yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Native English, I mean, we're fortunate, but I think we're also handicapped a little bit because you're not forced to learn that second language.
100%. Yeah. I mean,
it's great though.
As someone who lived in South Texas, I took probably 9 years of Spanish total. Couldn't tell you a thing because it's one of languages type of thing. If you don't use it constantly, you just forget it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
It's weird because you get taught a lot of languages in the Netherlands, and I mean I grew up with Dutch and Arabic, and then English for computers, and then French and German, and then I had to take like Latin and Greek. But
it's crazy.
But often you forget that you speak a language until you listen to it for a while, and you're like, oh wait, I understand this. This is French or this is German. It's kind of a weird realization. What's really useful though is if you're in a place where people only speak English, you can just switch to the other language and talk shit.
Exactly.
That's great. It's my favorite thing.
You can just start shit talking. But what's really weird about that is because we're all in the tech industry, the way I've really seen that kind of have weird impacts is knowing that like web protocols, they're all in Latin characters. So other countries that use non-Latin alphabets have had to learn at least the alphabet to achieve any type of web presence. And the majority of programming languages are written with a Western, I think there's only one mainstream programming language that was written in Japan. I don't even know if it was Python. I don't know, but it's like all of it originated in a way that some countries don't even have the alphabet to support. So when you have like people with, again, like Latin characters trying to get online and all that stuff, it's like they must learn the alphabet.
Yeah.
I give a talk about this where I teach people enough Arabic to figure out why a screenshot in Battlefield 3 is terrible Arabic. Because computers aren't made for non-Latin characters. So when you write Arabic on a computer, it's saving it left to right, but then it has to render it right to left. And it messes it up all the time. So when you copy paste Arabic from Word to PowerPoint, you've got like a 70% chance that it won't copy paste properly. Like this is a thing that we have to. There's websites that people have made that if you want to copy paste Arabic from a website to Photoshop, first you copy paste it from the website, from your source into that website, and then that website will flip it around so it's broken. And then when you post it into Photoshop, it'll flip it around again because it doesn't know how to render it properly. And then it'll be right again because it got flipped twice now. Like that's the state of Arabic in this world. But most graphic designers in the Western world don't know that. So when they do Arabic graphics, it gets messed up. So you get amazing, super high budget games with just complete. A friend of mine keeps a blog. Let me see if I can find it. It's at notarabic.com.
What was that again?
It's just notarabic.com.
Oh, notarabic.com. Okay.
If you pull that up, that is all examples of people trying to do Arabic, but it's not. It's absolutely not Arabic. And it's Coca-Cola commercials getting the word thank you wrong. You know, it's just spelled backwards.
Right.
Or
Wow.
Pepsi getting the word love wrong was my favorite because love in Arabic is 2 characters. So managing to flip those around is like.
So how does that work on like Twitter then? Is it because I've seen like Arabic on Twitter, but it always looks like it's not actually working. Is that because my computer doesn't have the characters, or just because I don't actually understand what I'm looking at? Or
It could be all of them.
Yeah,
honestly,
okay.
That's the problem. Computers are so unpredictable with this stuff that depending on how you're looking at Twitter, at what device you're looking at Twitter, how they type the Arabic into Twitter, and whether there's also English in the tweet, it could be one of 70 different ways of rendering. Sometimes if you put one Arabic word, that sentence will get right aligned while the rest stays left aligned. Like computers just aren't built for this.
Right.
The people that made computers were like, okay, we have 26 letters in the alphabet. That's all we need to deal with. And we will never have to deal with anything more than this.
Right.
Like, to be fair, that's how most software gets made, where you're just like, does what it has to. And then somebody goes like, well, what about this? And you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
That's my career in a nutshell.
Right.
Yeah.
The rest of the world. Right.
Does
Damn it.
Does DE do any Arabic posting at all, Rebb? Or
We actually don't, and I'm so glad you brought it up because we've been looking into like, okay, what do we need to integrate to support essentially the entire Arabic font libraries, and how do does our existing texts work with it and everything? And it has been a huge undertaking to figure out how to do it right, and it's just like you try to look at your okay. Now that we've business networked, I will definitely ask for some tips there, because we even screw up. I would say like once a year we release a hot fix that totally breaks. Typically we totally break the Asian characters, like our Korean fonts, because like we just will change something and for some reason they all render as asterisks, and we have to like, oh god, what did we do with our font libraries? So
sure, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I think Rami, was it you that tweeted out Blizzard started posting like in a community aspect of in Arabic, right?
Yeah, they have their community management team in Arabic, and they had a guy doing it already, but they didn't have their brand have an Arabic page. So that's what they started doing. There's now like an actual Blizzard Middle East presence.
When?
Like 4 days ago.
It's
2020.
Recently. Yeah.
4 days ago?
Yeah, it's Blizzard. They don't have a lot of money to do stuff like this.
That's why I saw it, because I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And they have a whole slew of different accounts now. Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff.
But yeah, they're handling it well now, which is nice. And honestly, it's surprising because there aren't that many games that actually have Arabic support, even to this day. Like, it's getting better. But like I gave this talk about Arabic 5 years ago, and back then it was FIFA, one other game, and Wally. And I never figured out why Wally got translated to Arabic,
Really?
but Wally was one of the only games with proper Arabic support.
Wally the game, not the
Wally the game. Yeah, I don't know
I
who
never played Wally the game.
Yeah, I didn't know that was like such a huge hit, let alone a hit in the Arabic world.
As far as I know, it wasn't, but it was fully translated, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But
is that like a loophole though? Because there's no talking in Wally.
Oh, maybe there wasn't much to translate. That's a good point. I mean, I guess they still have to do like the UI, right? There's probably some tutorial, but
Yeah.
it's got to be pretty basic.
I just remember as a Arab kid playing this beautiful. You might remember this scene. Like it's Battlefield 3. It was one of those promotional trailers, and you're like crawling over the roof of this building, and there's a sniper across the road shooting at you, so you have to stay low.
Right.
And then you get to like the end of that rooftop, and there's another soldier, and they're like, "Okay, grab this RPG and like just blow up the entire fucking building because we don't know where the sniper is," because that's how you deal with geopolitical situations that are painful and difficult for lots of people.
Of course.
And so the guy gets up and he readies his RPG, and on the building, on the hotel, is in giant letters the word hotel in Arabic spelled backwards. And I'm just watching this, and I'm watching this like $30 to $100 million game doing their big reveal presentation. It's just so clear that there's not a single Arab that has looked at this footage. I'm like, yo.
There was I didn't think about it now till you just mentioned that on how important it was. But I've been watching James May from like the Grand Tour and whatever show he was bigger than that I'm just blanking on right now that they had to change. Chat will help me out here in a second. Top Gear. Thank you. Yeah. He did a special on Amazon that just came out where he goes to Japan. It's over 6 episodes. He kind of goes through the entire country. But one of the things that he does there is calligraphy. And he was talking about how when he was writing like the kanji and the Japanese characters, that to him it's more of a painting, and like just looking at that just looks like a very well done painting. But how other people look at that and see a word or a language. And it wasn't until Rami just said that about like looking at the hotel and seeing that it's backward. That is a confounding thing to for my brain to try to process, because I only speak English, like Morgan was saying. Well, I guess I speak some Spanish, but I don't understand any other languages. Ultimately, is what I'm getting at.
It's a script, right? You can look at a Dutch sentence and be like, "Well, I don't know exactly what it means or how to pronounce it, but I can read these letters and make sounds."
Right. Yeah.
With Arabic, you'd look at it and be like, "These are squiggles, and some of them are higher than others."
Right.
That would be about as far as you'd get.
You can like sound it out, and like some words are similar because you can all like the letters are still somewhat resemblance, whereas kanji just doesn't. It doesn't compute unless you speak that. So.
And then there's the cursive, which is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arabic is a painful language to put into computers. Like,
how many?
I've tried a few times now.
I would assume there's like an Arab alphabet, right? Or Arabic alphabet, right? Yeah. How many letters? How many characters? I guess not letters.
So it's a little bit of a discussion, because there's one character that some of us call a letter and some of us don't. It's like, so you have 28, I think, and then there's one letter that is a combination of 2 characters that some call or don't call a letter.
Okay.
Lam Alif. But Arabic script gets used across several languages, so several languages use subsets of the script. Like, you've got Arabic, as you know it, but Arabic script also gets used in some Persian languages and some other places. So it's actually a more complicated question than it sounds.
There's not like a governing body that rules over.
I mean, it's the same thing as with Latin characters, right? Like, if you go to Poland, they mostly use Latin characters, but they have like 27 different characters that you wouldn't be able to pronounce and I wouldn't be able to pronounce.
Right. Yeah.
It's like you think that there's rules about a lot of stuff, but then the other day I found out that passport colors are not mandated by anything at all, and countries just go like, "This is nice." It's not like European.
Green.
Yeah, Europeans don't have to do the red passport, and North America doesn't have to do the blue passport. They just kind of went like,
I
guess.
This is how uncultured and untraveled. I didn't realize that there were different colored passports. I thought they were all blue.
There are. Yeah. A lot of Arab countries use green. Why? Because other Arab countries use green. So I guess that's passports.
So does that mean when you pull out your passport, when you come into America, they know that the random search needs to be random for you?
No, that's
like, how's that work out?
So it's funny because I have a European passport and it's a red passport like European countries.
Oh, okay.
But then they open my passport and they see that I have 7 Arabic names on there. And that's when they go, "Well, sir, could you please
Yeah.
stand over there.
This is random, completely random.
Yeah, we're gonna random.
But we need to have
once
a
stood at the
conversation.
airport where they, honest to God, it was a new girl working there, and she tried to board me, and it had the 4 S's. That means I'm supposed to get random checked.
Yeah.
So it got like the beep beep, and she's like, I don't understand why I can't. I'm like, I'm getting random checked. She's like, how do you know that? I'm like, see the 4 S's there? She's like, yeah. I'm like, that means I'm supposed to. So you need to send me to like the little thing over there, and they're gonna check me. And then the supervisor came up, and she looked at the girl like, so yeah, that's the 4 S's means he's getting random checked. And she's like, is that not random? And the supervisor said, no, you're supposed to tell them it's random, but that's not how it works. I'm like, don't worry, I know. And then I got put in the random check. It was
Jesus.
quite an experience. Just the sentence, you're supposed to get random checked, was, I think, my favorite thing of that evening.
Yeah.
It's just not.
That was coming somewhere? That was coming into the U.S.? Is that where that
No,
was?
that was U.S. security at a non-U.S. Airport. Some airports, the U.S. has a lot of power around the world, so they can enforce things on other airports. And this was like a pre-check in Ireland, I think.
Weird.
You're supposed to get
times.
random checked. Oh my God.
We rolled the dice before you came into the airport. And, yeah.
I've only had one issue it was actually at the Canadian border when I was coming back from Montreal into the U.S. And I got like separated, put into a room by myself, said, don't talk. We have to confiscate your phone. I sat there for about an hour wondering if I was going to miss my flight. No one said anything to me. I just kind of sat there at like 7 a.m. in the morning. And then someone came in and said, yeah, we spoke with your grandmother. We spoke with your mom. You're free to go. And I just kind of was, what? why did you call these people? What are you talking about? We had to make sure that you weren't a wanted murderer that has apparently been like hopping the Canadian-U.S. border.
Wow.
Because your name is exactly the same.
That sucks.
Yeah.
The most painful thing about my thing is you would think that when I go to Egypt, I'm fine, but apparently my 7 Arabic names, I have 6 in common with a drug dealer that they're trying to catch. So even when I go to Egypt, I get pulled aside.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, that sounds like it's an entirely different podcast of life and times of Rami's travel experience. So
I miss it.
Maybe that's a new podcast.
Back.
Maybe that's how you should
I just
start.
want more random checks, man. Let me out of my house.
You missed the random checks. Jesus.
I want to talk to some like slightly tired man that's just sitting there and like opening my suitcase and just grabbing a t-shirt and being like, sir, what is this? That's it. That's my t-shirt, man. He's like,
Jesus.
right.
Jesus. All right, let's do some shout outs and then we'll get the show started. As we say, Rami, you want to start us off with some shout outs? By the way, also, well, actually, it'll just happen. Rami, do some shout outs.
Hi, I make video games over at Flambeer. If you want to follow my stuff, I'm THA_Rami. Some people were asking about my mom streaming. She is Mom vs FFXV, Mom versus Final Fantasy 15. Go say hi to her. Be nice. Don't talk shit about her wallpaper. Thank you.
Cool. Morgan, do some shout outs for us.
I was like, I wonder what my bio is gonna say. I check out Bonfire Studios, at Bonfire Studios. Check out at Morgan Webb. We're totally hiring, so we got lots of stuff going on at bonfirestudios.com/careers. Come work with me. I'm super fun and nice all the time. I'm the best.
Awesome stuff. Rebb, last but not least, some shout outs, please.
Yeah, I am the head of anime. If Megan sees that, she will certainly have words to say. And I think JoJo is the worst anime of all
on the
time.
Show, you know?
Whew, this is going to be a heated thing. But yeah, I've been working at Digital Extremes for 9 years, Warframe for 8 of those. It's a free game. You can get it on all your gaming things if you're looking for something to do. We're in the middle of fixing up some updates, getting some things back on track. So if you're a Warframe fan, thanks for sticking around. And if you want to become one, it's free. So play Warframe. We're working on things and trying to make it better.
There you go. Thank you guys for coming on. It was fun having you on the pre-show here. We'll have to, we'll bring you on in different groups. It's always, I think you guys kind of did the gaming industry type group. That's at least how I pictured the three of you. So we'll mix it up in the future and have.
And food.
Yeah, I guess
Lots of
everyone
food.
talks
I'm
about
hungry
food.
after this.
We had a ton
mostly
of.
talked about food.
I mean, that's what happened in the first episode too. You know, it's just. It's how
We
it
talked
is.
about Animal Crossing mostly before, like while we were getting set up. So
Yeah.
maybe next time we'll save that gold content
Well,
for
I
the
didn't.
show.
I didn't talk. We have a rule list on the show, and I think it makes a lot of sense with what the show is to end with the rules. And if you guys have any rules that we should add, we should do it now. Here are the rules thus far. Rule number 1: no episode numbers, just show dates. We made that up last episode. Number 2: no insulting other cast members. This is a positive, feel-good show. I think you guys did that without being told what the rule is. Good job. Rule number 3: make it up as you go along. This could also be rule number 1. We did that. We passed with flying colors. Number 4, which is relevant to what Morgan was just saying: no gaming conversation unless there's something that you're super into. Animal Crossing, I think, makes the exception there. So, number 5: no interrupting. You were very courteous to everyone. You did great jobs there. Passed with flying colors. 6: you can't say that we're going to save that for a show. There's no saving for anything for a show here. So if you're going to be on another podcast or anything, you have to say it. You can't say that. So it's fine. Number 7, there's 13. Stay with me here. Number 7, you can't go too hardcore into politics. We didn't. We did great.
Yeah.
We passed that. 8, you have to explain jokes if a guest does not get it. I think we did a good job of explaining things across the board. Number 9, no saying, I might have talked about this on another pre-show. Just say it. Let the audience do the work. Okay. Like it. You guys did that. 9.5. I don't know why there's a 9.5. Don't talk too much about the show ideas on the show. You don't want to give away we gave Rami an idea for a show there at the end where he just talks about his travel experience. We didn't give too much away. So Rami, if you want to start that show, you still can. 10, there's no rule number 10. I don't know why that's a rule. Number 11, no talk of bodily functions. Great. Didn't do that. End every episode with let's get the show started. Did that. And 13, any tweet about the pre-show has to use the official hashtag the pre-show. Is there any rules you guys would like to add before we end the show and get started with the show?
Okay.
The
Can I
pre-show.
add one?
Yeah. Rule number 14, Rami.
There can't be more than 13 rules.
Oh. But so that means that, okay, so now we have to start deleting rules. Okay.
Please.
All right. The meta of the pre-show is started. Someone will type it that's watching this. Rule number 14 is there can't be more than 14 rules. Rebb, do you have any rules? And if so, what are we deleting? This just got intense.
I think that just became a competitive rule generating game that I don't know. I'm empty-minded here.
Okay. You don't have to submit a rule. That might even be a rule itself.
There should be something about not choking on stroop waffles.
Okay. What are we taking away, though?
Well, rule number 10 doesn't need to be there, right?
There is no rule number 10. Rule number 10 is there's no rule number 10. So that's a freebie.
So get rid of that.
Okay. Rule number 10 should be don't choke on stroop waffles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great. That's it. We did it.
I mean, I think it really keeps everyone safer. It's an important thing.
It does.
Yeah.
It's a safety thing. It's like
totally
if the
It's a safety
OSHA
issue.
Yeah.
work health people came, they would know you're compliant, and that's what matters.
It's great work.
I can't wait to hear what rule number 12.76 is.
Well, the thing is that we can just make a rule and replace rule number 14 that there can't be no more than 13 rules. So, that's how you get around that. That's how it works. So,
I mean, it is your kingdom, so by the time this is done, there'll be knights and ladies, and you just let us know.
that's the hope. If you guys want to be knighted or ladied, I think it's still termed knighted.
It is.
Yeah. Just let me know. I'll get
please
Aaron's
do.
got a sword for the wedding. It'll be there.
Perfect.
We can just knight everyone.
Good.
It'd be great.
Good.
Good stuff. All right, that's it. We're out of here. If you guys want to listen to the podcast version of this, it's over at thepre.show. That's the URL for it. And then this will also be up on YouTube tomorrow, probably. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the past 2 hours. Good luck. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Keep baking.
Stay the fuck away from people. And we'll see you next time. We're out. Bye-bye.